What up? What up? What up? Welcome to the live. As always, I'm your host, Brother Legend. What's going on? Hope everybody's good. It's a new week. How was your Monday? You know what I'm saying? Hope everybody's Monday was great. Mine was. You know what I'm saying? Every day I'm breathing is a blessing. I hope you've taken that approach as well. One down, 4 more days to go. You know what I'm saying? If you're working. If not, you know, one more down, many more to come. Hope everybody got a chance to love on their melanin, look in the mirror, feel proud. What's going on? We're going to have a discussion. We're going to talk about some things. I got some questions up here we could talk about. Um, just have a discussion, no debate. I don't even like debating, but discourse is welcome as always. I'm doing well, sister. What's going on? Hope you've been well hope you've been well too. You know what I'm saying? Hope your melanin's been shining bright. Hope your lips looking a little fuller. You know what I'm saying? Hope your hair is well oiled and hydrated. You know what I'm saying? Drinking a lot of water. Don't forget to drink water, y'all. It's important. Drink water. I've been tearing some water up over here. Some water, some ginger tea. Boil you some ginger in a pot. Strain it. That's ginger tea. That's beautiful. Maybe you got a little tea maker. Just grind up some ginger. Grind it up, boil it in some water. Get a nice amount. Might burn your tongue a little bit, but that's it, getting rid of the mucus, like Dr. Sebi said. It's good. It's good for you. Um, but yeah, we got some questions up here. Brothers and sisters, tap like. Let's get above 2K likes. We're gonna bring people up here. They can give us their opinions on some of the questions above. Um, Tap like if when you close your mouth, you can still see your lips. If you close your mouth and you can still see your lips, tap like. Please tap like if your hair is anything but straight. Thank you. Tap like. The reason I ask y'all to tap like is because I want the algorithm to reach those that it's meant to reach. You know what I'm saying? So I know y'all tapping like means that it's possible your friends will see it. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully y'all have followed some fellow melanated people. Oh, we got some answers down there. Someone said no, yes. My answers to that, she said no. I think she got the second one wrong, and she got the third one wrong, and she got the fourth one right. So you got 2 out of 4. Whoever said that with the moon, little crescent moon in your name, you got the 2 in the middle wrong. Or if you would like to explain further, elaborate a little bit, feel free to come on up. Anybody with over 1K followers, feel free. Or if you just have, the ability to join lives, feel free. BLM is a joke. Time and say it, but it's true. I don't know what that means. I don't know what BLM even means in that reference. Peace and Pan Africanism always. Amanla. Always. Free the people, free the land. Absolutely. I love that. Thank you for joining. Anybody that greets me that way must know what I'm about. All right. Red, black, and green down there. I love it. Shout out to y'all. Absolutely. That's who I do it for. But anybody's welcome to join. Um Anybody that wants to talk about the topics up above, they're really yes or no questions. So they can be answered really briefly. You can pick one or come up and just give us yes or no all the way down the list. Eloquent, I see you down there. Much love. Can you destroy my enemies? I don't know what that means. That's weird. Was I born in Africa? No. But I am African nonetheless. What's going on?
Hello, thank you for letting me up.
Yeah, welcome. Could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Um, do I have to do the pronouns? Because I identify as a BW. Okay, I'll say that BW.
All right.
I'm 35 and I'm black.
Okay. And
Oh,
so you wouldn't be offended if I call you a sister?
the SIS?
Sister.
Oh
Sister.
no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. No.
Okay, cool. All right, sister, go ahead and answer the questions for us, top to bottom.
Okay. Do white people experience racism? No. Do black BM benefit from what's that word?
Patriarchy.
Patriarchy. I thought so. I just couldn't pronounce it right, but I thought so. I don't think so. I don't think so. No. Can black and white cultures fully coexist? No. No. And can white privilege exist? No, white
Extend.
privilege extend to the Middle East people, Eastern people. Um, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Yeah.
Okay. That was pretty spot on. Any one of them you want to elaborate on? You can.
Okay. So the experience racism, you, to me, I
Being
believe
alive.
Oh
people
boy. I'm
fully,
Hello?
sorry.
so I don't feel
I'm
like you
sorry.
can experience it.
Mm.
Um, the BM, who's the BM? Who's the
Black
BM?
men.
Hello?
Okay.
I love Hitler and I hate niggers. I'm
No,
a
no,
racist
no.
motherfucker,
I
you
don't think
nigger ass.
so. I only think that way when they
Everybody
marry.
put F1 in the comments, please.
I only think they benefit is if they marry into a pristine or some high quality white family in the area that they at. I only think they can do that if they marry into whiteness. Um Calling can black people culture fully, because no, because in the, and this is my honest opinion, especially with the experiences that I've been going through and what I've been just recently going through at a job. um they are too proud. They're too proud. They're too full of themselves. They believe everything is supposed to be given to them automatically. Like they believe that they are not supposed to work for anything, have it like really work, truly work for anything. It's just supposed to be given. Like whether it be respect, time, a listening ear. Like I've been forced to listen to someone. Like and I had to look like the awkward, weird person to try to back away because they were trying to force me to hear their whole entire life story. Like it's weird. It's really
Yeah.
weird, but that I've been in those type of experiences. And then can white privilege extend to the Middle Eastern? And I stand all the time on what I say. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. They are like people. I've seen videos where people have posted and said, "Oh, black people go over here and they don't know how to act. They don't know how to
Mm.
respect certain." I don't see that. First of all, it's not even a lot of black people that own passports to go across these seas, do all that. So I don't see that. But I am known to see a lot of white people touch things and do
Mm.
things they're not supposed to be touching and doing. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I say they're everywhere. They're just everywhere. They
Mm-hmm.
think they can cross the line, even with guards at the gate telling you this is a sacred place. They still believe they are able to just ignore you, walk up the stairs and take a bunch of pictures and touch things, probably pick them and probably take some home, put it in the purse. Like that's what they do.
Yeah. Yeah. Michael Che has a joke where he talks about how a frosted female can walk up to a police officer, take his hat, put it on her and dance around, and the police officer don't do nothing. But if he were to do that, it'd be a problem. So I understand what you mean.
But thank you for having me up. I don't know if I'm supposed to stay up or drop down if you just
Oh
have.
yeah. Well, thanks for coming up, sister, and breaking that down for us. One
Thank
love. All right. And Prince, what's going on?
What's
Give
going
us
on,
your age,
brother?
race, and pronouns just for the audience, please.
Man, you can call me anything, brother. Brother's fine with me.
All right. And your age and race?
Well, I'm an Eve. I'm 35. I only say I'm an Eve because we are what we speak. I speak. I know my culture. I know my language. So I am what I speak. So I'm an Eve. If you don't know what that means, the Eves are the largest ethnic group in West Africa. So that's what I am. I am Eve. I speak Eve. So that's why when somebody asks me, what I am, I don't define as a black. I mean, that's fine with me, but I'm trying to educate my people as who they are, truly are. You are what you speak. So I'm Eve. I'm clear at that. But I'm trying to ask your questions for you. Do white people experience racism? No. Do black men benefit from patriarchy? No. Can black and white culture fully coexist? No, never. Can white privilege extend to Middle East? Yes, pretty much is. They everywhere. Like the last sister say, white privilege is everywhere.
Okay. Y'all come up here knowing the questions. It's pretty crazy.
Well, yeah, these
Yeah.
are these are the things that everybody should be knowing. We in a time of information. Everybody should be, up to a date of what's going on in this world. Me myself, I wasn't born in America, but I grew up over here, and I was born and raised in West Africa. And when I see my brothers and sisters are, trying to come back home and build, that harken my heart, but we still got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
On both sides, those back home and those over here. And the key is education. If we
Yeah.
don't educate each other, we're not going nowhere. A lot of people have no idea what's going on. First, they need to be educated on what's going on first before they can actually know what it is. And especially those of us back home, we lack of resources. We lack of information. So therefore, we just go with whatever, whatever we
Yeah.
get. We easily to suck up to the West because of what? Because we're looking for resources and things like that we never have. So if we, so it's easy for us to be lied to if we don't do our own research because coming like people don't understand. If you ever been to Africa, you understand how the system work over there. You know what I'm saying? So be in America. Everybody's vocal in America. You can say whatever you want. You can express your feelings. It's not like that back home. Back home is like either you rich or you poor, and the favoritism is going toward the rich. If you don't have that, those things, and nobody care what you have to say. You know what I'm saying? Nobody care what you got going on because you don't have a status. And likewise in America, like we on TikTok, we can voice our opinions and stuff like that, and people can understand that. But back home, it's not like that. So those of us in the West, we need to start educating our brothers and sisters for us to unite, and that's what I'm on. That's trying to get our people education. Go invest in Africa. Because all the nations are going over there and buy lands and stuff like that. Go do it too, brothers and sisters. That's what y'all need to be doing because over here you can't purchase land in America and own it because you still have to pay property taxes on it. As soon as you fail to pay those property taxes, they can take it back. Unlike Africa, when you purchase land, it's yours because the government don't own land back home. It's the kings and and the royalty that own land back home. So therefore, you own that land is in your name. Whatever you want to do, it pass down to generation, you can do that. And that's why I'm trying to tell my brothers and sisters right now. These are the time that you can do that. The American money is still haven't destroyed. The dollar is still okay right now. These are the time you need to go back home and start purchasing those land before they destroy the dollar. So that's why I be coming over here, and I like what you do. I like I follow your pages and stuff like that. So I just want to add on my
Appreciate you.
right.
It's funny. You said that once you're educated, you can't be lied to. Marcus Garvey says none but ourselves can free our minds. And I just think it's funny because it's like we got two different forms of, I want to say ignorance, but miseducation going on, or lack of education rather, because like you say about the West, we brothers and sisters here might have more resources or means to get resources because of our proximity to the oppressor in America. However, we can be lied to a different way because of our lack of knowledge of, things that people, brothers and sisters on the continent, are knowledgeable of. For example, when you came up here and said you said Ave. Is that the word you used, brother?
The Eve. So the
Eve.
Eve
Okay.
is right now. Yeah, Eve. So actually, the way we pronounce it is Eve. When I pronounce it upward, it's hard for anybody who don't have the accent to actually pronounce it. So we use the Latin script to actually wrote out our native tongue, because that's ancient, Paleo Hebrews. That's how we actually wrote our,
Right.
our native tongue. That's how we. But when the German, the Portuguese people, got to West Africa, they can't say anything. They can't communicate. So they come out with whatever version they came out with. That's what we got stuck with over time. So when you look at West Africa now, you say airway.
Oh, okay. I have seen that
we are
written
found
before.
in Ghana, Togo, Benin.
Yeah, I've seen that written before. But what I'm trying to say is the difference in the miseducation is that brothers and sisters on the continent, although they might be starved of resources intentionally, and brothers and sisters in America might have more resources. We do lack that knowledge of self that you just displayed. What you just displayed is a far more powerful form of wealth. That's knowing where you come from. No one can lie to you about who you are. And here in the Americas, appreciate you, Kron. Many of us here in America have been miseducated about who we are, or not told who we truly are, and we can be lied to in that regard. So I would say, I understand how you brothers and sisters on the continent can look at us and say we have more resources, but it came at a very high cost of, you know, being disconnected from our cultures, traditions, and our ancestors. But thankfully, I do see more brothers and sisters on the continent embracing those in the diaspora, and I see us uniting. And as a Pan Africanist myself, I'm doing my work to help facilitate that. But thanks for coming up, brother. Thanks for sharing that.
Definitely, yeah. If anybody ever want to go home, y'all can DM me. I always say in any platform, my doors are open for brothers and sisters that seriously want to come home and don't have nowhere, to start with. Y'all can DM me. That's what we're here for, to help each other. I've been here in America for 21 years, so I know pretty much about this system, and also trying to educate about our people back home. The reason why I'm saying that is you can't really trust anybody trying to go to Africa, because it's a lot of people lack resources, so therefore they're looking for come up.
Right.
Don't want to give them reason to be you want to be there, come up, because they will, because they're looking at us West that we automatically rich. That's how they look at us. So if you give them a reason, and they're gonna come up on you. You don't want to do that. So make sure you talk to the right people when you're trying to go back home to visit or do all the things. That's what I'm here for. Me and my team, we also have our own platform. We got apps and stuff like that. I'm actually in school right now. I'm in cybersecurity. I'm doing my bachelor right now, so I'm still working on things. Yeah, I need
That's
to talk
amazing,
to you more, because
brother.
last time I heard you, know.
I'd like to talk more about
we
that.
definitely link up most definitely, because I think that's what Africa need. I think Africa need and need education of what's going on right now, modern education when it comes down to tech. We need too much of. We need that. We definitely need that to fight back the West. We need tech worker to fight back the West. So I think that's why I'm really into that.
Are you in the Discord?
No.
Okay,
no, I definitely need to get your Discord.
Yeah, it's in the link is in my bio on my page. If you go on my page, b1initiative.org, we're doing some things with technology as well, as far as creating a chat bot to educate brothers and sisters unapologetically about African history, Afrocentric history. Afrocentric.
Man, I love it.
Afrocentric means Africa telling Africa's story. You know what I'm saying? Not the oppressor telling our story. So
Right.
yeah,
Definitely, most definitely. We got to go to African sources. And see, the thing is, when you let European tell our story, it's like outside looking in. We need to
yeah,
tell story. You don't want story like that. There's like somebody perspective. And that's not
right,
the actual what actually will happen. Even
yeah,
with that, even with Africa, oral traditions and stuff like that, we still need to watch it because not all of them are true or accurate. Right. So
yeah,
those are the things that I'm working on with my own culture and custom, trying to find them oral tradition, trying to line them up like, okay, I want listening to from this, this elder. Let me go back to my village and listen to another elder and see if it matches. Those are the
yeah.
things I'm trying to do to see if okay, we telling this story, but let me show you let's tell the story right because we do have our brothers and sisters, that ask questions. If if
Right.
you're from the West, if you're American love
We
asking
don't
questions.
know. That's why I made it because I'm trying to teach my brothers and sisters because we need to hear stories from your uncles and your grandpa. We don't have that, so we need to hear those stories.
Right.
So I'm trying to get it to
Most
us
definitely.
and throughout the diaspora. You know.
That's awesome. We
Yeah.
definitely link in touch. I'm gonna be in the live. Definitely support you. I'm gonna hit your Discord up. But definitely we're gonna link
Please.
up.
All right. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
talking
most
there.
definitely.
All right. One love, brother. What's going on? Yaju, what's going on, brother?
Brother legend,
What's going on? How
legend
you
of
doing?
brother legend of TikTok, brother man. Good to finally talk to you, brother. I
Absolutely.
watch you. I've been following you. I appreciate your energy. I appreciate you trying to tell us brothers and sisters what the real is about going
Hmm.
back to Africa, how important that is.
Yeah.
That Mother Africa recognized the greatest resource that Mother Africa produced, and that
Right.
would be their people. We're right now. We also have a group. I think you've heard of Yaju.
Mm.
Yaju has a decoration to all nations right now. And what you're talking about,
Hmm.
it's connected to the largest land grant. It's connected to the largest trust fund that is set aside for
Hmm.
this exodus out of these countries. For our
Hmm.
people right now, it's written. All we got to do is recognize the hard work that people like ourselves did for us, put these things in high places. Supreme Court system, World Trade System. We're talking about all the head systems that run the world.
Mm.
We submitted them for you to all world systems. And here in the next 2 weeks, we'll be here in Washington, D.C., sitting down again with world leadership,
Hmm.
telling them and not asking them that these things have to be set in place. Now, our declaration just a few weeks ago was submitted to all nations. All
Mm.
nations have a copy of it. They will be announcing us here really soon. We're just gathering leadership, brother legend like yourself. We
Hmm.
have shows Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sunday nights at 7 o'clock. This is
Where
how we
at?
on YouTube and Facebook.
Okay. DM
If
me
you
the
can't,
link, please.
oh, I sure will. I'll put it down there for you, brother legend.
Hmm.
And I've been wanting to talk to you for a little while. I'm glad I got up here and hollered at you, brother. Man, you
Wow.
keep on doing what you do, King. And I'm going to do what I do to keep you on this proverbial seat that we're trying to put our people on. That's
Wow,
my
brother.
job. So if I can get you there, just hold on to it, man.
That's
Don't
amazing,
let.
brother. And
Yeah.
shout out to you for what you're doing as well. That sounds amazing, man. I'd love to hear more about that proposal.
Oh yeah, most definitely, man. You're everything that you saying. We're doing. We have an actual
Absolutely.
solution to bring our people home at one time, and we're going to pay for it. Well, we're not going to pay for it. We're going to let the British Royals and the papacy pay for
Hmm.
it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they owe us
Yeah.
a lot, big bro, and I'm going to make sure they pay it in full.
Hmm.
Everything that's owed to y'all, I'm making sure they're going to give it up, and they're not fighting this. Most people say, "Oh, Danny, they're not going to let this go with this and that." No, it's written in their bylaws. This is why they accumulated the most wealth on this planet and the most land. They were doing it for you. Okay? So this is your time to take it back right now. Man, peace and blessings to you, brother legend. I love you, bruh. And we will see you here real soon, brother man.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for coming up. One love.
Yeah, one love. And I put that in the comments for you, bro.
Oh no,
Like I said,
put in my DMs, please, because the comments go by so fast. I don't be seeing it
got you,
in
bro,
my
bro.
DMs. All right.
Yep, sure will.
Thank you,
All right
brother.
then, bro. Yes,
All
sir.
right. Uh,
Hey,
Nabi, could
what's
you
going
give
on,
us?
brother?
Hey, what's going on? Could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
I don't use brother. I'm a man, man. I'm from the 70s.
Okay.
I'm from the 70s.
I'm gonna assume he
And I'm an
him
Afro
is cool
brother.
with you.
It,
And what's your age and race, please?
yeah, I'm an Afro brother. American Afro. I
From the
don't use the
continent of
term black
Africa.
anymore. Yeah, well, not only from the continent of Africa is one of the phenotypes that I noticed from us brothers here in the Americas, in some places in Afro, and that's the ability for our hair to grow up to the sun, i.e., grow in Afro. And
What's
there's
that got to do
a
with
lot
you,
of
who you are?
scientific strengths in it, right? And so I don't identify as a color. So, like, I'm here in Brazil and I help children in the favelas, right? And one of the things that I notice is outside of the United States, people don't refer to themselves as black. You know what I mean? Like they have the color for black here, right? It's preto, but they don't refer to themselves as preto. They refer to themselves as negros. You understand?
They refer to
And so I
themselves as
tried to
what?
move away from negros.
I think they refer to
And,
themselves
and so
by their. I think they refer to themselves by their continental identity outside of America as well. So you know, you have a land
yeah,
history and culture going
well,
back
here in
thousands of years. When I see an Asian person, they're Asian.
uh-huh.
I see a European, they're European, and such and so forth.
Well,
So
most of the people here in
ten
Brazil
thousand
are
years ago, where
from
was your ancestors?
in Kemet.
All right, so that's Africa. You're African. There you go. That's how you figure it out. You know, if you don't want to be the color,
All
I
right.
get it. The color itself is problematic because that's the
Yeah,
name given to us by an oppressor to oppress us.
exactly.
However, that's if you look at it through their definition. Through the African definition, Kemet means land of the blacks. So it means black land. In our culture, black was a color of fertility, and Nubia, also synonymous with black, was gold. So black represented wealth and fertility. Um, that's our definition. I don't have to use my oppressor's definition for black in order to be proud to be black. But I understand that for some it's
I'm trying to get
you
away
know,
from,
I understand that. I understand that.
yeah, I'm just trying to,
But I would say I would prefer, if you're not going to do that, then at least acknowledge where your ancestors from, and that's for me Africa. So I prefer African. I don't even prefer
mm.
the term African American. I prefer the term, if you're going to call me anything, call me African, call me an American African. But you know, I'm
But see,
African.
I use the but for me, I'm trying, like in my studies, I'm getting away from using their terminology. All right. And so I refer to phenotype one, people that can grow afro. And and so I will refer to Kemet before I will refer to Africanus. You see what I'm saying? But I just want to answer these questions up here too, because there's some excellent ones as well.
Mm-hmm. All right, go
And
ahead.
um, the one is the one is I can't see them. Your thing went black. But the
You
one
can't see the
is
screen.
can
It went away.
the
It
I
says
can
the first
see,
one
I can hear
says.
you, but I can't see the background. The
That's crazy.
well, I mean, there it is. There it is.
Back.
It went on. There it is. It's back again. All right. And so it says, do the other people, do the people that created color experience racism? And I'm in line with Dr. Francis Cress Welsing in that no, because they control the levers of how everything operates through through all the systems and stuff, right? So
Mm-hmm.
prejudice might be something, but the people that's prejudiced against them have nothing to leverage against them to take anything away, to destroy, or to mobilize to take their lives and get away with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the one thing. And so then we get into, do the cultures fully coexist? Can we both fully coexist? And that I would be in line with Brother Malcolm when he said we need to separate from it, because a lot of things that they are for that has crept into the Afro community has been detrimental to us with all these, let's say, new beliefs. Understand? And
Mm-hmm.
so if that was never part of our culture, and being in proximity to them will allow them to put stuff into our community that would be detrimental to, even if we get down to the basis of procreation, then the only way to block that is to just separate. Now, I believe that if we lived in a separate society, they lived in a separate society, that we could come together for some things. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't see what we're doing as coexisting, is because us taking on their beliefs, us taking on their customs is basically making us go extinct in this land. All right. And the their privilege can extend to anybody they give it to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. But our privilege comes from us doing it ourselves. We were prosperous, but I think we need to be happy being us. What destroyed our communities is when we decided that somehow their ice was colder than ours, so we wanted their ice, right? No, we was enjoying our ice, and they wanted our culture more than we wanted theirs.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Much of our culture got appropriated by them because they liked what we were creating. All right. And if we're not careful, we'll lose all that we created from generations to generations because we're pimping it out. And so I believe that if we stay separate and appreciate what we do, love what we do, keep doing what we do, and be happy about what we do, and not thinking that their ice is colder, I think we would be
Mm.
better off, no matter where we are.
Okay, that's
And
interesting.
that's what I had to say.
I,
And I really don't have
mm-hmm.
an answer for the second one.
Okay, all right. Well, might be your blind spot. You know, I would encourage you to,
No, I
do
have an
some.
answer, but I really
Dr.
don't.
Francis Cress
I
Wilson
would
speaks
rather
on
have a
that
more
too.
researched.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Francis Cress Wilson speaks on that in her 2010 lecture. 2010, she gives a lecture on YouTube. You can look it up. She speaks on how patriarchy subjugates black men as well. Something that we benefit from. No one in our community
And
benefits from the oppression of a subgroup within our community. Patriarchy doesn't deem you.
the thing
Patriarchy
is,
deems you a
though,
threat and doesn't include you in the definition of manhood.
mm,
That's why this.
so
That's why
define.
Michael. That's why Michael in Good Times says, "Boy is a white racist word." You
I
ever watch
agree.
Good Times? Hmm.
Hmm. I agree. But the patriarchy, I think the matriarchy is just as toxic for us.
I would tell you to provide proof.
And I'm looking at the Huh?
I would tell you to
Proof
provide
is
proof.
the society. Well, I'm looking at the societies that we have. I'm looking at the Afro community, not just in the United States and where they are now versus where they were in 1950. And I'm looking at the favelas. I hang around mainly in the favelas because that's where most of the work is that I do. And and that's not well there either. Although
You're
the
telling me
favelas
those
operate
places have a
more on
matriarchy?
anarchy.
You saying those places have a matriarchy?
I'm saying that in the United States it does, but in the favelas, I'm thinking it's more anarchy.
Where is the favelas?
The favelas is in Brazil, the places where the Afro people live
Mm-hmm.
that don't have much, where the it's called the favelas, and it's called that after a tree. All right, and after a couple of wars where the Afro people separated from the Brazilian government. And so the favelas are such that the government really don't operate in the favelas like that. There's like no schools, no ambulance, no hospitals. So they're basically on their own, been on their own, um, very creative, and is basically run by armed individuals. Let's say it like that. All right. So
Mm-hmm.
I get in and out of them because of
And those
the
armed
work that I was doing
individuals
with
are all
the
women?
youth.
Are those armed individuals women?
No, the armed individuals are women and men
All right, so that's not a matriarchy.
and teenagers. Hmm?
Okay. But that's not a matriarchy. It might be
I call it
matrilineal.
no, I didn't say that was a matriarchy. That's why I said it's more like anarchy.
All right, we're veering way off topic now. But we're talking about black men and
Yeah,
patriarchy.
that's why I left that one alone. Because I don't know what to call the favelas here in Brazil.
Okay.
I
All
see
right.
it, but I see it. It's like a weird thing. Like
All
it's
right, we'll
hard to
do some
define
well when you say
in
you
like
don't
this kind of
know,
a conversation.
when people say they don't know on this live, I'm the type of brother to tell you, give you a book. You know what I'm saying? So I would tell you, Frances Cress
Hmm.
Welsing, but you mentioned her earlier. You could look at Ain't I a Woman by Bell Hooks. Um, Also, We Real Cool is another book by
Hmm.
Bell Hooks about black men and patriarchy. And then you've got Audre Lorde, if you want to really dive deep. She's a soul sister. I love her. And then we got who else? I mean, shoot. Even if you wanted to, lean more
I've
towards.
read some.
Mm,
I read
go
some
ahead.
of them. I'm just not in agreement. I've read some of them. I'm just not in full agreement. All right. I really like Frances Cress Welsing so much so that um, I was putting her information up on my YouTube channel, and
Hmm.
they threatened to take away what do you call it? Where you was getting paid, right? What do you call it?
Yeah.
Monetization. And I told them to go F themselves. I'm not taking it down. It's still up there and they took the monetization off. I don't care. Right.
Wow.
I think her stuff is important. I'm not in full agreement, having lived in a bunch of places, that a matriarchy or patriarchy is either bad or good. All right. And
I would
that's
say
my
you need
thing.
proof of matriarchy being bad. I would say you need proof of that. I
Well,
wouldn't say it
I
is
look at
good.
I look at
I would just say you don't got the proof. I mean, there's a few matriarchal societies on
the
Earth,
data.
but they're doing pretty well, to be honest. And even when there were matriarchal
Well, do
societies in
you?
Africa in the past, they were doing pretty all right. But for the most part, there's matrilineal societies, especially in the continent of Africa. But uh, it doesn't exclude men from power.
Do you think the U.S. is a matriarchy?
No, it's not.
Do you think us in the U.S. is a matriarchy? Oh,
No,
okay.
it's not.
That's my problem. If you call the U.S. what we have a matriarchy, then that's why I said it's bad.
Okay, so
Because most people
I
say
think
that we live
I
in a
think
matriarchy.
no, we live in a patriarchy here in America. America's patriarchy. Men
But
run
is the
stuff,
Afro
and women are
is the
excluded from
Afro
power.
community a patriarchy or matriarchy? Huh?
The Afro the Afro thing is throwing me off. But the black community
Is
is
the black
still
people in? Are we?
women.
Go ahead.
I would say the black community uh, here in America is less patriarchal, but there have been patriarchal institutions created by us within our own community. But of course, those patriarchies are still a branch of white patriarchy. So I would have to say that the black community is still patriarchal just because we're subjugated to a patriarchy of our oppressor in our own communities. So,
Okay. And what I would say is, I think that the people that subjugated community turned it into a matriarch, and as such, we're going extinct, statistically speaking.
I think you're conflating
And that's what.
the description of what a patriarchy is. I understand what you're saying. You're just using the wrong words. It's okay. You said
Or
you
the
didn't.
matriarchy.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
A matriarchy would
Right.
be a
And so
system of power
that's
in
my point
which
about the second
a
question.
matriarchy would be a system of power where women run things and men are excluded from power. That's very, very hard to find on Earth. Um, there are matrilineal tribes, such as
So you
the
don't think
Ashanti
that exists in
tribe,
the U?
but matrilineal and matriarchy are not the same thing. So,
Okay, so you're saying we live in a matrilineal in U.S.
no, I would say we're patriarchal here in the U.S. because um, black men do not control hire, fire, or control the means of production in our neighborhoods. We don't own our
Okay.
neighborhoods. We don't do anything. So I see your argument where if black men don't run the black community, then it's not patriarchal. But what I'm trying to say is white men run the black community here in America. So it is still
So okay, I
patriarchal.
get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I get what because the white men ultimately run the black community, then
Hmm.
it's a patriarchy because they're the men that run it.
Right.
Got you.
So that's why
Got you.
patriarchy is a problem for us all, not just black women, brothers as well. But the patriarchy looks at you and doesn't call you a man, calls you a boy. The patriarchy is the reason why we're the black men are the most unemployed people in America. Patriarchy was the reason why we're the most incarcerated men on the planet here in America. Um, Patriarchy looks at us and says we're a threat. That's what Dr. Francis Cress Welsing said. White T genetic survival. We are the
Right.
number one threat to that
Right.
as straight black men. Patriarchy is
Exactly.
our problem. So that's the thing. So it affects us. It's just sometimes we so blind to it that when we talk about our oppression, we forget to leave out patriarchy, thinking it's going to help us, but we don't have a black patriarchy in America. So when we co-opt patriarchy, we co-opting what the white man built. So it ain't helping us at all. That's why I say my answer to the second
Which gets
question is
into my
no.
point.
Yeah.
Okay, which gets into my point about separation. That's what I thought the problem is, that we take on their values as the values to have, like
Hmm.
get in the bag, get in the bag. That's
Why
their
do we do that?
values. How
Why
about
do we do that? You know why we do that?
because that's yeah, they want
Because
us to chase money.
they took away our culture and our customs and our knowledge of our ancestors, our knowledge of ourselves. When our ancestors walked off those plantations, appreciate the gifts, y'all. When our ancestors walked off those plantations, they had no knowledge of Africa. They had no knowledge of their culture. They had no knowledge. So when they walked off those plantations, they didn't understand how to go back to living the way we lived in Africa, which was balanced. It wasn't matriarchy or patriarchy. It was balance. Watch the movie Woman King. There's a woman king and a man king. There was both ruling the nation. You understand? So we had balance, and that's just one example. But even in the Kukulkan Fuga, the Mali Empire, we had written constitutions that said women were equal. So we had balance. Our ancestors got off those plantations and they didn't know nothing about that. All they got off the plantation, all they knew was we should just do what the master's been doing. We should just do, the man runs the home, the woman cooks and cleans and raises the children. So I guess that's what we're supposed to do. We're free now, guys. I guess let's just do what they do. And so that's been passed down
But
over and
that's
over and
kind
over.
of, but that's not kind of how that happened. We had more of a balance then, because even right after that, all the way up into the 50s, right, we were bringing both incomes into the household. White women were angry because, especially in the churches, which, agree with it or not, in there everybody voted, the men and the women, right? And this upset the way back in the late 1800s, to find out that the Afro women, well, I'll use black women for you, the black women could vote just like the men in all the stuff that we had as a community. All right, that incensed them, which kind of made this movement that they had, this feminist movement, out of jealousy of the power that the black woman had within the Afro community. All
Mm.
right, so that's historically what was going on then that incensed them. So we had that all the way up to maybe the 54. All right,
So
we
you're
had
saying that black men and women
balance
could vote? I'm
in our
confused. You
stuff.
saying
No,
so
in
you're
our
saying
stuff, like the
feminism
churches, the
exists because
things
white
that
women
the
were
in
jealous?
yes, basically, bottom line, the root
Um,
of it,
I think you
not
got that
only of
backwards,
the,
man.
not only, I'm saying that the movement, the feminist movement, got caught fire not only because white women were angry at their man, but while being angry at their man, they saw that there was a balance within the Afro community, whereas the in our organizations, in our organization as a community, the Afro men and Afro women voted on everything
Real quick.
together,
Hey,
like
Nabi, Nabi,
especially
Nabi,
in like the church stuff.
Nabi,
And the
Nabi,
church stuff, when they was
Nabi,
voting together,
Nabi,
and with
Nabi.
overseers coming this,
Hey, bro.
All
Hold on
right,
a
yeah,
second.
we gotta go on, man.
Hold on. Check it. I think this is what he's trying to say. If
that's
you look at
that's
Uh-huh.
the black,
history.
if you look at the Black Panther Party, and you look at role models like Angela Davis and the women who were in the Black Panther Party, white women saw that and were like, "Man, I wish we could do that. I wish we were that strong. I wish we were that powerful," because they weren't. This is 68, 69, 70. And by 73, 74, 75, Gloria Steinem, who was like the radical, Jewish, right, left wing savior of white women,
Yeah,
she's like, yeah, that's basically, we're like, well, we're just going to do what black women do. We're going to be strong like them, power to the people,
yeah. Miss Magazine, I know about it.
Yeah, exactly. So, but
And
I just want, go
she
ahead.
worked for the CIA as well. So I got a video interview of Gloria Steinem. I think it's still up on my one of my TikTok. But I got one of her. I got a lot of interviews from these white women on what they were angry about.
Well, okay,
Yeah.
real quick, I just want to, hey,
Just real quick. Oh,
go
sorry,
ahead.
go.
No, 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 no. Okay, oh yeah, real quick. So, we're talking about black men and patriarchy, right? So, I mean, I'm just gonna give me about 90 seconds and I'll be done. But I mean, the experience. Look, there's really nothing left to say about all this. Well, there is. There's a ton, and at the same time, there's not, because I mean, the experience, as far as I'm concerned, of the black man in America is shaped by like a ton of factors, right? Race, gender, class, intersecting identities, racial discrimination, gender expectations, stereotyping, right? Homophobia, transphobia, all these things that are out there. Jim Crow, the black family from day one. And I'm talking like the 1500s all the way to now. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And you know, when you look at all of that, and as a black man and or a black woman, and you're trying to navigate in this white world that we live in, all these identities, all these intersecting identities that we have to deal with as black people, it's a challenge, right? Because racial discrimination still goes on. We all know that. This is an anti-black country that we live in. It's an anti-black globe that we live on. I mean, we deal with everything. We deal with police brutality, police brutality. We deal with employment discrimination, housing discrimination. What else? Racial profiling, education, microaggressions, medical discrimination. I mean, you can
That's
go
a big one.
ever and ever and ever, you know? And as black people, we need to know this, right? Like, this isn't something that we're just like, we can talk about stuff, but we need to know this stuff, man. We can talk, you need to know, and you need to know where it came from. You need to understand it. Not just like for some topical conversation. This has to be in your soul, man. Like, you got to live this like it's a religion.
Yeah.
That's
I heard that.
You know what
And
I'm saying?
Africanism is my religion.
You know, well, I would say over the past, I'd say 6 or 7 years, it's become mine.
Yeah.
So, and
it
that's
definitely
why,
starts to feel like one.
yeah.
You know.
I think about it every day, and that's why I love your lives, bro.
Yeah, man. I
Your lives
appreciate
are
you.
real. They are real, dude. They make all the sense in the world, and you're extremely knowledgeable about what's going on, not just in America, but on this planet when it comes to black people.
Yeah.
And you know, we need young kings like yourself, bro.
Appreciate you, man. Yeah,
Dude, you know I
doing
love
it.
you. You know I
Yeah,
love you.
man.
So,
Yeah, I love you too.
you
Yeah,
Appreciate
know,
we love you, brother legend. We love you so much. You know what I
it.
mean?
Thank you.
I'm going to hop in here because
Yeah, go ahead.
otherwise I won't be
Absolutely.
able
Go
to
ahead.
get it out. In regards to the question, do white people experience racism? I think they experience racism among themselves. They have a hierarchy as far as you know, who's legitimate white. I've currently lived in 3 countries: America, the
Excuse me,
UK,
y'all.
and I currently live
Let
in
me listen
Ghana.
off the air.
Okay. Go ahead, sister.
Hold on. I'm
Okay,
gonna listen off
so
the air.
I've been able to. Okay,
All right.
so I've been able to see it, you know, from different perspectives at this point. And for instance, in the UK, the British people are quite quite racist to Eastern Europeans. So like the Polish, the people from Hungary, people from, you know, but they favor the French. They favor like Swedish people. They favor the Nordic, you know, these guys. So among themselves, they do have a hierarchy as far as who's like legitimate Caucasian folks, but they'll all unite against us. We're still at the bottom of their own totem
Right.
pole.
That's why I wouldn't
We
call it
could
racism.
we
That's
could
yeah.
we could if we excluded them, we could make them feel racism, but there's so many of our people that love them and feel that inclusion is necessary. So, you know, the unity, because I'm pretty sure during the Black Panther movement and civil rights, they definitely felt excluded from certain circles among our people because, you know, we had quite a bit of unity there. And definitely there were very vocal people like Malcolm X that was calling him out and, you know what I'm saying, letting them know how he felt about the white man and our people, the Nation of Islam, you know, people that make their perspective on racial things very known. So, but I don't think as it stands now, no, they don't experience racism from us directly. The second question, do Black men benefit from patriarchy? Not in its current context. I think if they were running their own patriarchy, like I said, I live here in Ghana, and I see that men interact better with men and they look up to men. And for instance, that's why like you're so prolific because you're a young Black man and you are essentially mentoring your brothers. Now, men don't really listen to women and respond to women in the same way they do to other brothers, which are a lot of women, for instance, we can attest to this. We can tell our men to do this and that, their boys go and say the same exact thing. And it's like they have this epiphany because they heard it from their boys. They respond better to men. And I see that here in the community because there's generational Black families here where a lot of men have been under the guises of their fathers and their grandfathers. These men have been raised by men. I mean, you know, women have a very essential role here as well, but I think for them to be in control of their affairs, it builds confidence. And that's why so many Black men in the West are emasculated, is because they are not able to be under the guises of other men. And we see, again, all of the major movements in our community have all been male-led. You know, Malcolm X was prolific, Dr. Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, Thomas Sankara, the list goes on, Kwame Nkrumah here in Ghana. So, you know, men are essential to run things, even though they will be supported and led and, you know, influenced by women. I think if they had their own patriarchy, now in the context in America, no, they don't, because like we've already talked about, the white men are still running everything, and they're also restricting Black men from their own upward mobility, you know. So I would say that. And then, can Black and white cultures fully coexist? Absolutely not. Separate but equal is the way forward. And this can also be prefaced by all the homogeneous societies around the world that are thriving. Asia, you know what I mean? The Indian communities, these Middle Eastern, you know, these people are very homogeneous, and it cuts down on a lot of the friction that we get when we're trying to do this whole diversity thing.
Well, just look at real quick.
I think
look at what happened when we had our own towns and our own schools and our own churches and with
absolutely
our own banks. I mean, they burned down and or flooded 50 towns, and those are just the ones we know of. Okay, so and we did well. We were thriving, but they didn't want to see that happen. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's absolutely correct. You know, I think separate but equal is great, you know, and unfortunately this diversity thing has never worked. It doesn't work in the wild. It doesn't work among people. And for us as members of the diaspora, it's very important for us as well to reconnect to our homeland. I think that provides a lot of insight. It certainly has for me. And I would encourage a lot of us to really get beyond what we think we know about the continent, because yet again, all of that has been strategically instilled in us by who? By our environment and by people. You know, they're telling us the narrative of Africa. So if we don't take the initiative to find out what it's like and to create the reconnection, then we're going to be we're going to be disconnected. And whether or not you want to accept it, it is our origins. It's important to know those things to be able to springboard forward. So I say no. You know what I'm saying? I say no, we cannot coexist. There's no history of us ever coexisting. There's never been a harmonic time of our people, you know, and so no, we can't. And as far as can white privilege extend to Middle Eastern people, the Middle Eastern people actually have kind of like this colorist sliding scale. And this is something I got to know about in the UK because I really, prior to that, I never had much interaction with Middle Eastern people. But there's like a lot of Pakistani people, there's Iraqi people, there's some Syrian refugees, and I had an opportunity to work with some of them. And they told me that, you know, in their cultures, white is right. You know, the fairer they are, even as Arab people and stuff, they get favor. The more fair females are, you know, sought after for marriage. That colorism is worldwide, really. So I think in their societies, maybe the white Arab people are at the top of the totem pole. I don't know about Western white people. You know what I mean? How they fare in their cultures, because they kind of think the Western world is evil, you know, so they don't really want to let them integrate in much. But as far as their own totem pole, yeah, I mean, the white privilege in their own societies does prevail. So I just wanted to bullet point those. I'm not, you know, I'm kind of a straight shooter when I answer the
Yeah,
question.
no, that
It's the same way.
You know what I'm saying?
It's the
yeah.
same way
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you
Yeah.
sharing that with us, sister.
So thank you
That's
so
accurate.
much. You know, I'm an avid follower of yours, and once again, I love to see Black men operating in their purpose. You know, again, women can say all these things, but to see a brother have the courage to, much love to you out there giving me the roses. I appreciate it. But it's so prolific to see the Black man do what he's meant to do. And you guys are so influential. I mean, you are absolutely influential. And that is why they have done so much to kind of discourage Black men from rising up, because they know how prolific that is, and they want to prevent you from having the influence on your brothers. You know what I'm saying? So we have, that's why this matriarchy they promote it in the West. You know, they give women so much power because they know that at the end of the day, that buck is going to stop, you know, somewhere. And they know that it's not going to really cross over to women. And as we can see with them empowering women in the West and, you know, encouraging them for higher education and kind of allowing them to topple over men in many situations, it's totally affecting our community more specifically.
Right.
Because white men are still on top of their women, period.
Right.
But in our
Almost all other communities, the men
are still on
are
top.
higher earners than the women. Except when
Exactly.
you get to
But in our community,
right.
our community, you know, they have empowered and encouraged the women to go forward, in addition to promoting this BS strong independent mantra that it's just so absolutely ridiculous. And many Black women, I hope not some of you in the chat room, but some of you guys are subscribing to this stuff, and it is absolutely destroying our community. It's the improper order. You know what I mean? And whether or not we cannot get around that, and that's why black men and women in the West are struggling immensely in the area of relationships and family, is because it is transposed. It's not supposed to be like that. And women, no matter how educated you are, how much money you are not a man. You can't move like a man. You can't do what he does. And that's what it is. And we're not meant to be. We're meant to be women. We have a different function, and we should be comfortable in that and not make it a competition with our men, because we are the only community that this is being promoted to. Even all the other immigrants in the West are still operating in the traditional guises, as far as the male being the head of the household and him being the leader and things like that. So anyway,
in a certain way, not the same way white teen men lead their house. You know,
white men have structured it. They're always going to be on top. They got to be
right. A man's job is to be whatever his family needs him to be. You know, if your family needs you to wash dishes and take out the trash, then that's your job as a man. If your family needs you to get your son or daughter a bicycle and get them to school on time, then that's your job as a man. If your family needs provisions to pay the bills,
you make it happen.
Whatever, a man's job is to make it happen. White tea patriarchy says that women have to lay in bed and be in the kitchen all day, and a man is supposed to just do everything. And because of that system that has disenfranchised us so much. Black men are not able to live up to that standard in the West, and
Right.
all those statistics.
And that's the problem.
So, yeah.
And
So we
then
have to change that definition of masculinity within our community, because it's a rigged system.
the other thing that's necessary, I mean, the thing that's critical, for males is to be respected. That's very, very important. Even if the man is a blue collar man, even if he's washing dishes, it's important for him to be respected. Without the respect, he feels inadequate. And that's another thing that many women are not doing, because they feel like they're the breadwinners, and because, and in many cases they are. So
Mm-hmm.
they have lost respect for their man as well.
That was
And that,
intentional. Mm-hmm.
exactly. So with the lack of respect, I mean, my grandfather, for instance, he worked in the post office. I never saw my grandmother ever, disrespect him. He was still, and my grandmother was more educated than him. She went to
Mm-hmm.
HBCU. She came from a more affluent family. My grandfather was like blue collar, but my grandmother, he was respected. He was the man of the house. He paid the bills. He put his kids through college, and so he had his pride, and that's what made him feel like feel like the man. And so a lot
Mm-hmm.
of our men, they lost that. The women are also not necessarily doing a great job of that. And I mean, I understand it's a toppled situation, but I mean, we got to realize this agenda, and we have to stop being participants in our own destruction.
In our own, that's facts.
And
Yeah.
yeah, because we're participating in this stuff, and we're engaging in these gender wars, and I mean, it's so
Yeah.
foolish, because at the end of the day, it's like many black women, they still want black men. Many
Mm-hmm.
black men are also searching for partners. And here
Mm-hmm.
we are in the same arena. And instead of us saying, you know what, let's bridge this gap and let's figure out how to sort through our problems and
Mm-hmm.
re-centralize our families, we are just going back and forth.
And the children are seeing it. And the children are still
Yeah.
seeing it.
And the cycle repeats. The
Yep.
cycle repeats.
Yep.
And, I mean, so it's unfortunate. I mean, and, I have left that environment because I realized what you said. It's a rigged environment, and I'm very traditional in my views. Even a lot of my girlfriends, they don't really understand that you're promoting yourself to be the single independent person. Well, that's exactly what you're going to be. And you think that someone's going to come into your space and kind of respect your G, and it don't work like that. And the reason it
Yeah.
doesn't work like that is because that's not the natural order of things. And, but it is what it is. We can all have different opinions. But anyway, I
Mm-hmm.
saw this, and I did just want to share my perspective. And I appreciate your platform again, and your time, and your audience. So thanks everybody for the roses. Much love to everybody. I'll slide. I'm going to go back in
All
the
right.
comments. Okay.
All right.
Take
One
care.
love, sister. Thank you.
All right, sweetheart. Bye-bye.
Captain, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Yeah, I'm 24. I'm white, yeah, and I'm she, her.
All right. And go ahead and answer the questions for us.
Oh, yes, white people do experience racism. BM, is that black men
That's right.
benefit from patriarchy? Patriarchy? No, they don't, because most of the leaders of the patriarchy are white men, I would say. Can black and white culture fully coexist? Yes, they can. They definitely can. And can white privilege extend to Middle Eastern people? Not only can it extend to it, but they can take over.
Okay. Take over. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Give me an example of when black and white cultures were able to fully coexist.
I don't have an example. The question is, can they? And I think they can, but I don't know if they ever have.
Oh, so you mean in theory?
Yeah.
So
For
without
sure.
any proof, you just think they can in theory.
Yeah. Correct.
So that's like saying I can jump to the moon. In theory, I can, right? I mean, I just can't jump high enough, but in theory, I could.
Right.
there's never been any proof of me jumping to the moon for me to make that statement. There's never been a person that's ever jumped to the moon before. But in theory, I could.
There's got to be a first time for most things.
So I would say that is bullshit.
Really?
Because it's not possible, simply because I think what the what do they call that? The thing that you're skipping over is black and white. These are two classifications in a racial caste system that oppresses black people. As long as this racial designation exists, these two cultures cannot fully coexist in the same space. One will supersede the other. So either the black person is going to start talking like this and saying, "Hey guys, how's everything?" or eating raisins in their potato salad, or a white person is going to bring potato salad with raisins in it to the cookout, and we don't want that. So it's kind of like, when are they able to coexist? When is a culture that was built to take from this culture going to fully be able to express itself in all of its taking of shit in a culture that was built to not be stolen from and to thrive despite being stolen from? How are the two of them going to coexist? Well, the answer would be there would be no white and black culture. It would just be, we're 1,000 years in the future, and when I call you a white man, you're just like, huh? What do you mean? My clothes?
Can I explain this to him really quick?
Well, I have an answer.
Captain, hold on one sec. So, do you know about racial construct? Do you know anything about that?
Racial? Yeah.
Do you know how it was formed?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay. So how was it formed?
Basically, to separate us by class.
Okay, but how was it formed?
The white man.
That's not why it was formed either.
Yeah, so here's the deal. So in the late, in the 17th century, the late 1600s, there was a rebellion called Bacon's Rebellion, right? And this was in Virginia. So these wealthy YT Virginia landowners realized that the indentured servants and the poor African American or African people that had come to America, that were brought to America, that were free at that point in time, needed to be some type of dissemination, right? Like we have to separate these two. So, I mean, what happened was the landowners said, you know what? Guess what? You British, Irish, Welsh, Scandinavian people, we're going to make you white people. And you're going to be the overseers. And we're going to give you a little land. If you're not an overseer, we're going to give you a little land and you're going to be happy, right? And black people, you're going to be enslaved in perpetuity. So that means you, your children's children, their children, until, luckily enough for us, there was a war to get all that taken care of. So we thought. So that's what happened. Okay. So when you think about it that way, we've never been a homogeneous society. Okay. There's always been someone serving us with a ton of brutality, morning, noon, and night. Okay, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. For the last 300 years. Okay. So at some point in time, which is now, okay, I'm literally going to say this to you. Most black people on these panels don't trust you at all.
That's not fair.
Because we know what this looks like. It's not fair, but it's the truth,
you just
right?
said that we could...
all is fair in love and war, okay?
I'm going to let you land the plane.
All is fair.
Go ahead.
In love and war.
But
I'm done.
Okay, I wanted to point out that you just said that black people could coexist in a classification system that built cultures that basically It's a classification system built to enslave them. So you're saying in that racial categorization process, the caste system by which their ancestors were enslaved by, you're saying under those same categories, we can fully coexist.
Yes.
That is racist.
No, it's not.
You can't convince a fish swimming in water that water is wet. You understand that?
No.
You can't convince a fish that water is wet. Think real hard. How the hell are you going to tell a fish water is wet? It's been swimming in water its whole life.
Well, it doesn't think to the capacity like we do.
Right. That's how you sound right now.
No. You're living
Yeah,
in
it is. You're a fish in water, and I cannot convince you that water is wet. You've been in water your whole life. You don't even see it.
Well,
I'm outside the water, and I'm telling you, you keep getting water on me. Getting water all over this live. It is bland, it is unseasoned, and it is wet. I'm telling you now.
You're a time traveler, and you're living in the past.
Nope, living in the present.
Serious, dude? Did you
I feel like you're living in the past. You echo the words of your ancestors.
They said that too?
They did.
They said a lot of things.
They said a lot of racist other shit. But you're just saying part of the racist shit that they said.
None of this is racist.
Once again, you are in the water. You don't know that it is wet.
Captain, how old are you?
It doesn't matter, man. You're coming at my age like you're attacking me. So.
How old are you?
Uh-oh. He's fragile.
I'm not fragile, but he's
it's the thing. It's called fragility. It's coming out.
No, it's not.
How old are you?
I'm 24.
Captain, we ain't respecting your YT woman tears, bro. Or sister, excuse me. What's wrong with you?
What?
Do you not hear yourself talking? You are extremely racist.
How? Tell me how.
Listen to what you've been saying. Listen to what you just said. You're a racist.
I said that we can get along. I'm saying to stop living in the past where things were
bad.
But
just listen to what you said.
What?
You need to be mindful of what spaces you're in.
What did I say?
I ain't rocking with that. You trying to flip. You trying to do acrobats by the way of your words. I ain't rocking with that. We hear what you're doing and we see what you're doing. Stop playing around.
What am I doing, man? I'm trying to
unite American. Us. So how in your mind, by way of your people, how can we coexist together in this country? Yet we know damn well this country is not made for us to coexist together.
Well,
and your country don't even want us here.
I'm in Canada.
Your country does everything in its power. Your people, by way of this country.
In Canada.
Your people, by way of this country, don't want us here. And they create all kind of systems to keep us in place and keep a knee on our neck figuratively and literally if you think about George Floyd. Yet you think that we're going to coexist together in this country and they don't actually want us here. Africans don't even belong here.
Yes.
So what are you saying?
Are you indigenous?
No.
Okay.
I think we all belong here. And I think it's an elite.
That's what your ancestors thought. And that's why they took it from everybody else that was here.
But what if his ancestors have to do with anything?
Said, we all belong here, so we're going to take it from them.
I'm not my ancestors.
Just like a YT person is like trying to, like, yes, he kind of sounds ignorant in the sense I will agree with that. But like, I can see that he's trying his best in the sense. But it's like
trying his best to do what?
Time, you can't be like keep using like the
unite us.
To make a lie sound good? Is that what he's doing? What Captain is doing? Trying to make a lie sound good? Because that's what I understand is going on.
Let me finish.
I don't like the law.
What your ancestors did, do not coordinate into what you're doing.
All right, hold on now. All right, you didn't introduce yourself. Could you introduce yourself? Name, age, age, race, and pronouns.
I am Alejandra. I am Puerto Rican and Dominican. That's my ethnicity. But race, obviously, I look white. I have white privilege. My pronouns are she, her, and I am 20 years old.
Okay, so you may proceed.
That like I can see why you guys are saying that he sounds ignorant, because yes, there are some points where he kind of does sound ignorant, but I can see in the sense of like using like the ancestor card, like it's not people's fault
Ancestor card.
in the sense of like when you
Yo,
keep talking
two of
about like
y'all need
white skinned
5
people.
paws. You sound crazy,
Yeah,
woman. I'm gonna let
I
you
don't
finish,
sound
but you
crazy
sound
because
crazy already, and
yeah,
you just
you do.
unmuted.
I'm mixed.
But
I
I'm
talk
gonna
to you.
unmute. I'm
No,
gonna mute. Matter of fact, fuck that.
She unmuted to
y'all
align
not even
herself
letting me
with the
finish because I'm not
Marshmallow
even
Man.
talking about
So
you guys. I'm talking about
Marshmallow.
Ma'am, you're
using.
defending this ridiculousness. You sound crazy.
You get
5
offended by
paws, ladies and
one word
gentlemen.
that comes out of
I've
somebody's
been through the
mouth.
flames, brother.
don't call me
I'm
brother.
talking about white tea
You
people.
you are, but okay, I won't.
I'm talking about always talking about what white tea ancestors did is not the same as like what they're
What do
doing
you
today.
mean
At least
still
specifically
doing?
with him,
What are you
like coming
talking
like
about?
y'all not even
How
letting
are
me
they?
finish. I keep stumbling
You
on my
know
words
Hold
because I
what?
on,
don't get them in the
American. Let her
finish.
finish.
Yo,
Let her
y'all gotta
finish.
let
Let's hear
her
the
talk.
nonsense.
You
Yeah,
just
let her
did that.
talk. Let her talk the nonsense. Let's hear this shit.
If anybody gets up in their feelings down in the comments, feel free to send the Panther paws. But until then, we're gonna let Ali talk. Go ahead.
Yeah, because they double teaming this shit. This shit crazy, bro.
I'm just trying to say every single time a YT person comes into a space and sounds ignorant, instead of educating them, y'all badger them and then bring up their ancestors. What their ancestors did is not their current, like present, like tense, like their fault. That's when I say ancestor cards. Now, when you're talking like a black person, talking about your ancestor, like your grandfather was a slave, it was not that long ago. That's what I'm saying. But like when every single time a YT person comes into like a space, it's like everyone wants to use what their ancestors did, but it's not even them. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about in the sense of like when you guys are telling your family story.
All right, are you finished or are you done?
I'm done.
All right,
Finish.
so you said what your ancestors did is not your fault. What have they done to stop what their ancestors did?
What are they supposed to do at this point?
Oh, there's plenty. There is plenty. There's books, dissertations. There's movements. There's been so much. There's been
And it hasn't
marches.
done shit.
And they haven't done shit exactly. But there is.
Nobody has done
Don't say
anything.
what are they supposed to do. There's
Nobody
Excuse
has
people
me,
done anything
ma'am.
because
telling.
we're
All right,
still
you see
fighting
how I
the
let you
same
talk,
goddamn fight.
Ali.
Martin Luther King
Ali.
Jr. was
Allie,
fucking
whatever your
fighting
I
for
name
will
Malcolm
is, you
let you
gotta
X.
talk
mute while the host
again.
is talking.
I will let you talk
You
again,
gotta
but
mute,
you gotta
miss.
let me talk now. You said you were done. All right. So now there is books, dissertations, lectures, movements, leaders. There's a whole history on people telling them what they can do. They don't do it. So if you are not undoing the work of your ancestors while also benefiting from the work of your ancestors, you are part of your ancestors. There's no doubt about that. And it's equivalent to, actually, I'm not even going to get into that metaphor.
I'm down
Then
for abolishment
for
of
you,
government.
please mute up, guys. Then for you, as someone that is part of his ancestral line, to come up here
Not
and
me.
dictate to us what we should be telling him is also part of what your ancestors would do.
Don't
See,
be
that's
talking
the
about my
thing.
ancestors because they're
There
not
is
mine.
such thing as multi-generational trauma. That gets passed down. You called yourself a frosted female when you came up here, except you
Because
used a
I had
different
white privilege
word.
before anybody had to name it out.
When
That's why I
you
brought it
say
up.
that, and then you
Because I
think you're going to
recognize it.
come on alive and tell black people how we should confront someone
My
that is
entire family's
spewing
fucking
ignorance
black.
that you said was ignorant. You said it was ignorant, what he was saying. How dare you
5
tell
paws,
us
y'all.
how to
5
react?
paws.
How dare you? With someone with privilege, how dare you come up here and tell us how we're supposed to react when someone is saying something inflammatory in our space? That is ridiculous. You may continue.
I'm down for abolishment of government. Oh shit.
Captain, don't switch up now. I caught you. Nope. You ain't going back down now. Don't try to switch it up now.
Yeah,
What
don't.
do you mean?
Yeah,
Don't get
just
scared
stop.
now.
See, the thing is,
No,
right,
no,
when
no.
y'all
That's
get
not how
here,
that
when y'all
work.
get in our
That
space,
ain't how that work.
when y'all get in our space, y'all need to, well, y'all need to
Am I kicked?
listen.
Is
Y'all
this me?
gotta educate yourself. Y'all gotta educate yourself before
Who is
coming
that
to
for?
a black space.
Captain or Ali? Who was that for? Let me know. In the comments, type it. Who was it
Ooh,
for?
somebody just said black privilege exists, white privilege does not. That's disgusting. Because that's not true.
All right, Ali. They don't want you in here. Have a day. She out of here. All right, y'all.
Listen, hold on, brother. We probably gonna get the other four. We probably gonna get the other four. Listen, y'all, real quick. There's 187 people in here. My duties. Listen, y'all, power tap the screen. So tap the screen super fast for 30 seconds to 60 seconds. Once you see the red bar in the corner, it's 100 likes. If everybody does that, we can get up to 50,000 likes by the top of the hour. Everybody tap the screen super fast. Fill up the red bar 2 to 3 times. Share the live with your people, 5 to 10 people. Get your people in here. Tap the fuck in. Let's get the live going. God damn it! Tap,
Get
tap,
it. All
tap
right.
that
Thank
screen.
y'all for. Thank y'all. Thank you, brother. Speak. And then y'all, we got the other 5. And shout out to all of y'all that stayed with us through that traumatizing mayhem that just went down. We got with hoodwinked. We got they came up here. It was
bamboozled.
Yeah, we were bamboozled. It was a flurry in here just now. It's a little snow flurry, but we good. We still here. I'm gonna go to the next guest. The cult. I think it's the cult. The cultured Scott. Could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Oh, hi. I'm 34. I think I'm a man, and I think my I think Irish people must have became white about 50 years ago. So I think I've been white for about 50 years.
Longer, bro.
Oh, and America's been white for 400 years. Parts of Europe didn't become white until much later. It was black people who
All
actually
right. Hold
invented
on.
the concept of the white race.
Hey, Scott, calm down.
Yeah.
Relax. Okay. You're giving us history we didn't ask for. Could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Did you not understand what I said?
Did you not understand what I just said? Age, race, and pronouns, please.
I'm 34. I think I'm female. No, I think I'm male. Yeah.
Oh, dude, come on.
We already know what's going on. 5 pause, y'all. Come on, man. Stop playing. Answer the questions.
I don't understand.
Answer the questions and stop playing around.
Right. Do white people experience racism?
Nah, what race are you?
Prejudice.
Answer the introduction. Name, age, and pronouns. Why is this shit so difficult for you? You just switched up twice.
All right, bye.
All right, he volunteered himself, man. Thank y'all for the Panther pause. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why they even coming up here if they're not going to talk. That's weird. It's weird, right?
No. I just. Everybody kind of talk now.
I don't know. I wasn't talking to you yet.
My fault.
I'm sorry, MJ. I wasn't talking to you yet. I was talking about the other 3 snow people that came up here. Could you give us your age, race, and pronouns though, MJ?
I'm a male. I'm black, and I'm 21.
All right, and go ahead and answer the questions for us. Get us back on course.
Do white people experience racism? I would say yes. I feel like in today's age, like how the country's going now, I feel like white people, like they're getting the end of the stick.
Oh my
God. If that makes sense.
No, it doesn't make sense, but continue.
Well, it's more of the fact of like.
You better have facts, dude. You better have receipts.
I have facts. I just don't want to offend anyone. You know what I mean?
Dude, look, bro. You're about to get ejected, okay? Because
wait, what did I do?
What?
wait. All right.
Thank y'all for the Panther pause. Hey, listen, if y'all ever want me to dissect one of these guys, I will. But it's just.
I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with it.
No, for real. Thank y'all so much for the Panther pause. Dealing with that mayonnaise so we don't have to. I really appreciate it. What's good, G-Dot?
If I'm being totally honest, that was selfish of me because I just wanted to say hi anyway.
Okay. Well, always a blessing to have you on the live, sister.
Oh,
Um,
always a pleasure to be here. Let me
yeah,
know where you
everybody.
want me to. Mm.
I was just gonna say, everybody go follow my sister up here, the G's very
Ah,
own, and also
shout
Speak Your
out to
Truth,
y'all.
and American podcast. These are my friends. Some great platforms. A lot of Pan African Black love comes from them. So feel free to follow, send gifts as well.
Yeah,
But
we're
go
not
ahead,
here for
sister.
the dumbness that they were just on. I don't know. Especially when they came up and was like, "Oh yeah, my pronouns are she, her," and had a whole Adam's apple. I was worried about that. I was worried about
Oh
that.
yeah, I did. Yeah. Hey
And then
man.
didn't get mad when they were quote unquote misgendered. But whatevs. I'm just gonna go back on mute now.
Yeah. Right. Mm. Well, who we got up there? African. What's going on?
Hey, hey, man, I'm just laughing about the Adam's apple thing.
It's ridiculous,
Oh,
man.
man.
Listen, I just try
But
to be respectful. To be honest, that's all I want to do. I just want to be respectful so that it don't derail the conversation.
uh,
Anybody got a special pronoun preference, I will respect that, and we'll just keep it pushing. But don't come up here fronting and you know what I'm saying, acting like you something that you don't really claim in real life because you just look crazy.
oh
Yeah.
man. But the questions. So, do white people experience racism?
Mm-hmm.
Never really thought about. I mean, I don't know. Maybe on a person-to-person basis, but if we're talking about systemically,
Mm-hmm.
especially within the scope of the Western world, I'd probably say no, they don't.
Mm. Can
Um,
mm.
yeah, go ahead.
My question to that would be: can racism operate on a personal level? Can I have personal racism? Racism operates as a system. Ism is in the word, and I think that's what a lot of people try to skip over. ISM denotes it's a suffix that means a system or practice. So racism is a system or practice of a prejudice based on one's identity or proximity to a racial group.
Hmm.
So
Now we're going
if
to get into
I
EDA Online now.
and it also when we say that that white people can experience racism, we're also excluding the context in which racism was created. It was not
Mhm.
created to subjugate, oppress, colonize, and enslave white people. It was
Mhm.
created literally by them to do that to Africans. So
Mhm.
to say that they can be a victim of something that they created to benefit
Yeah.
themselves while that system is still operating today, to me is like, it's hard to
Mhm.
see. But there can be black people that are bigoted towards
Yeah.
that
Because I guess I was
exists.
thinking about it in a like what's it called, a prejudice, like how people say like you're prejudiced against someone. I guess I was thinking about it
Mm-hmm.
like that, but I guess on a systemic level, then no, they can't.
Mm-hmm. And
They can't
systemic
do.
doesn't mean institutional. Systemic
Oh.
happens on Memorial Day and days when the institutions are closed. Systemic still happens on New Year's and Christmas. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
Institutional is a framework, a corporation. Systemic social systems exist. So
Mm.
if all banks stopped operating today, racism would still exist.
Of course. Yeah.
So
Um. So do BM. I'm assuming that means black men
black men,
benefit
yeah.
from patriarchy. Um. I mean, like when you say like, are you talking about what, black American men, black men in general, worldwide? Like,
I would say I would challenge that question worldwide. Where do black men benefit from patriarchy?
well, I mean, patriarchy in general. I don't know if it's necessarily because like I was discussing this with some friends. I don't know if it's necessarily a system where just one gender solely benefits. You know, I mean, men and women both have I think there are drawbacks and there are benefits for both genders when it comes to patriarchy. Now, in the scope of like my culture, I'm, Kenyan and Jamaican. Like you see this in Kenya, a lot. I think I can kind of see the benefits of it in my culture where it's like, a stable family structure, and, a good social safety net. So I mean, within the scope of majority black countries, I think there could be
I
some
would
benefit
say
from it.
black
Yes.
patriarchy doesn't exist in Kenya.
It certainly does.
You're talking about family structures. I'm talking about patriarchy. I'm talking about a system of power that excludes men. Excludes women
Excludes women.
and holds power primarily for men. So men have most
It's
positions of power.
yeah, it's a pretty
However,
rigid. Yeah. Go ahead.
however, the men in power in Kenya, I wouldn't say are actually in power.
Oh.
I would say the IMF, um, and whoever Kenya is allowed to sell resources and labor to is in power in Kenya until we've had our Pan African Revolution, where Kenya is able to be um, as free as other Western nations and be as sovereign over themselves, where Ruto doesn't have to go to any summits called on where he's called on by the descendants of our oppressors. Until then, Ruto answers to somebody. So as long as the man in charge is not one of us, it is not our patriarchy that we follow.
I guess the reason with that is because, well, where Ruto is concerned, um, the thing is governments change so rapidly and quickly. I mean, for example, we saw it like just what happened in those West African states, Mali,
Mm-hmm.
Niger, Burkina Faso, and Guinea.
Mm-hmm.
It's like governments can change so rapidly and they're so fluid.
Mm-hmm.
It's like to say that it's like how am I'm looking for the word. To say that there's like a permanent system of European control in
Mm-hmm.
a post-colonial African state is kind of difficult to pin down unless it's very obvious, like when you look at, say, a country like Cameroon, where their
Mm-hmm.
currency is issued by I believe it's the French Treasury,
Mm-hmm.
the CFA franc. I'm sure you know about that currency.
Who drew Kenya's borders?
Europeans, yeah.
All right. So who is in control? That's what I'm trying to tell you. At the end of the day, the patriarchy in control of Kenya is not an African patriarchy. Kenya's borders are drawn by Europeans. See what I'm saying? So neocolonialism is still in effect. Until
All
that's
of the middle,
over,
Right.
there isn't a black patriarchy on earth.
all of the Middle East, all of the Middle East, Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, Israel, Saudi Arabia, those are all patriarchal um, things. Those are all built by European patriarchal
So there's
politics
no.
and
So I guess
policies.
then, in that way, there are no Arab or Middle Eastern patriarchies.
I would. I mean, I think. Well, he said Europe. I wouldn't. I wouldn't say Europe, but I would say there are definitely Arab patriarchies. Absolutely.
There
Um.
are Arab patriarchies, but all I'm saying is the footprint of the European patriarchal, the politics of European patriarchal endeavors, if that's the word I need to use, is all over Africa and the Middle East
Mm-hmm.
for one reason or
Yeah,
another.
because I guess Because I guess when I compare it to, I guess the reason why is like when I compare it to, for example, I look at Black America and I look at some African countries, for example. It's like, I guess I'm like, if they had their way 100% of the time, I mean, for one, if they had their way 100% of the time, no African country would be an independent country. I mean, they didn't lose thousands of soldiers. I mean, especially in Angola, for example, it's like they didn't lose thousands of soldiers, the Portuguese, defending the country just to say like, we still have control of Angola. As a matter of fact, nowadays, most of Portugal's biggest banks are owned by the Angolans as a result of their 2014 debt crisis when they couldn't afford to run those banks anymore. So it's like I guess with geopolitics, in a geopolitical sense, it's really difficult to pin down who's in control, especially because in our cultures, for example, like when you go over there, whether it be Kenya, I'm sure you've heard of Uganda the other day and what happened there with their LGBT law. I think that's how you say LGBT law. And how the World Bank threatened the Ugandans, said they wanted to cut off some aid or whatever. And then the Ugandan government, of course, the World Bank, they backed off because the Ugandan government said, well, look, this is our country, we run it, and also your interests in this region are going to greatly suffer if you keep pushing us. And they backed off. Somehow, I mean, they threatened the Westerners and the Americans, but the World Bank, by extension, backed off. Because, I mean, obviously, we both know the World Bank is just a Western puppet organization, not really there for the development of non-Western countries. So it's because it's like, I think because our traditions and our cultures are very embedded into our country's laws, even though, yes, those borders were originally drawn by Europe, I guess the systems in place of our cultures and how they're run are very much dictated by us.
What's the most spoken language in Angola?
Angola?
What's the most spoken language in Angola?
That is Portuguese.
Okay. So once again, they're not running the patriarchy there. You understand? They're still colonized.
They're official. Yeah, they're official one.
You see what I'm saying? But I'm saying neo-colonization is deep. And you got to remember, I'm African American. We know our oppressor. We know, and that's our knowledge that we are trying to bring back to the continent. Because I still get brothers from the continent coming up here saying, I'm not black. I'm my tribe. And it's like, y'all don't understand.
I know Black Eyed Dominica.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, we trying to show y'all how they see us so that we can use that against that system. And unfortunately, the reason why there's not more African Americans on the continent of Africa right now is because we know what's going on the continent is a different flavor of the same bullshit we got here. So we can see it. A lot of Africans don't. And we trying to tell y'all, you know what I'm saying? But
because it's like a lot of Africans, it's like when you go to some major cities in Africa, for example, I think the reason why a lot of them are very naive to, I guess, the nature of these people for one reason. You can probably go to some major African cities and go days without seeing someone that's not black. Sometimes weeks. Some of them have never even seen someone that wasn't black before. So
I can't. That would be heaven to me. Heaven, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I get that. But I do have one question though. When you mention the language of Angola, but Swahili is the most spoken language in Africa. And it's
Arabic. Arabic is number one in all of Africa.
Arabic as a number one language, but I think they said level 2 languages. Like in terms
Okay.
of level 2 people who are capable of speaking it.
What's level two?
Like, so level 2 means it's like it's not your first language, but
Oh.
you're capable of speaking it fluently. It's like
Mm-hmm.
if you spoke Mandarin, for example, you're a
Mm-hmm.
level 2 Mandarin speaker.
I see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like, and it's an official language in, I believe, 8 to 10 countries. I think Kenya,
Mandarin? Oh,
Uganda.
you're talking about
No, no,
Swahili.
not,
Swahili.
no. Oh,
Yeah.
hell no. No, 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 no.
That would be
Not
crazy.
Mandarin.
I was
No.
gonna say they're
Mm-mm.
moving fast.
I might not. No, they need to go on somewhere. That wouldn't be happening. Mm-mm.
You know, it's coming. It's coming, but not yet. It's coming. I'm telling you, not yet.
God forbid.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the Angola Portuguese thing, because you asked which is the most spoken in Angola, with Kenya, for example, and we were discussing Kenya, with Swahili being the most spoken language, everyone pretty much speaks it.
Yeah.
I guess in that regard, culturally, I guess what would be your opinions on that in relation to, say, Angola?
Well, culture and patriarchy are not always synonymous, but
Yeah.
a colonized land always takes on the language of the colonizer. Basically comes and gives you the language, gives you the religion, and they take the land and the resources. They leave you with the
Mm.
Bible in your hand, speaking. Well, for us it would be English.
Yeah.
So that's just those are just markers that you're still colonized.
Mhm.
And I would say until Africa comes together and starts to bring in at least a what I don't know. I don't think Africa even brings in $3 trillion in their GDP, do they? I don't think.
They're, yeah, they do.
Is it three
But it's still
trillion?
like, are we talking nominally or purchasing power parity? Because I think there
Um,
are two measures.
yeah, I would say.
The
Uh,
purchasing power parity is about 7 trillion as of 2023, but still, that's lower than it should be. Still not
they.
impressive.
I tried to type it in. They gave me different countries.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Um.
yeah. I think they can do. I think they can do three. What I'm trying to say is though,
Yeah.
until Africa itself, because the different
They
countries are
have to
not doing it.
unite.
There's no
Yeah.
one country bringing in $1 trillion.
Mhm.
So African Americans, like us as Americans, we're only 40 million Africans, right? Us in
Uh,
America,
Two
we
countries are actually though.
wait. Two countries are what? All I see is
Nigeria and
Nigeria.
South Africa.
Yeah, Nigeria and South Africa together
Yeah.
could get about $1 trillion.
But the rest of
Um,
them, no. Not
but the
even
rest of
close.
them no. But that's two countries together. What I'm trying to say is
Yeah.
one country, America,
Hmm.
African Americans, which have there's more people in Nigeria. Well, in what city is that in Nigeria? The big city.
Lagos.
In Lagos, the population there is 20 million, correct?
Around there, yes.
All right, so double that, and then you've got all the population of black people in all of America.
Yeah.
And together, our GDP is 3 trillion. 3 trillion.
They have
Just
a lot of work to
40,000,
do.
40
Yeah.
million. 40
Hmm.
million people, 3 trillion. You understand?
Yeah. Hmm.
And we can't get no respect. What I'm trying to say is until there's an African country that is its
Hmm.
own superpower, or I would say Africa as a whole,
Except the North, though, because
except
they
the
can't
North,
behave
except the
they
North,
can't behave themselves.
they can't behave themselves. You're absolutely correct. But if we could just get the Congo back, it's over. you know?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. When I'm looking at the African Union, I see some of those countries are making strides, but they won't have a full breakthrough until they unite as a single state because they can't stand on them. It's
You're
not
breaking
gonna
up, brother.
happen. So they have to unite. Oh, can you hear me
Yeah,
now?
that's better. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
No.
saying like even though some countries are making strides, as a whole, they won't make a clear breakthrough until they unite as a single state. It's not going to
Right.
happen. So
Yeah.
I'm glad, though, from what I'm seeing in events, they seem to be realizing that now.
Yeah.
and are working towards that. Hopefully it speeds up though, because
Yeah.
the people in the West are watching too and getting nervous. And they're trying to stop it. So yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for sharing that with us, brother.
But
I gotta go to the next person. We've been spitting for a while, man.
yeah,
I
for sure.
appreciate you every time you come up, and you can hang with us if you want. But thanks for coming up, brother.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man.
All right. I think it's one Juan or something.
Go.
Yeah, hi, how are
Hey,
you?
I'm well. Could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Yeah, I'm 34, white, and him.
All right. And I'm not sure if you can still see them, but could you answer the questions for us?
Yeah, so do white people experience racism in America? I don't think so. And my reasons when people argue this, I spent time in prison at one point, federal prison, so gives you kind of an idea of all over the country. You can look at just in there in the systematic in our justice system. Um, there's very little white people in there. I'm a white man, and we're the biggest, race by population. It shows you a clear problem right there. I mean, it's pretty easy to see. Um, just from that end, a lot of people don't get to see that. But if you just look at tribalism, that's a pretty, I get, at least that's the word I use. Um, People like to flock to their, what looks like themselves, right? And when you got 70,
Well, you sound a little muffled. Could you, I don't know, maybe shuffle around? I'm not sure.
is this better?
That's a little bit better. You saying tribalism?
Yeah, I think when you have a high percentage of one race in a country, that you end up with racism for sure. And whoever has the biggest population tries to push that, whatever their culture is. And I
All
think
right,
that's a
name a country
problem.
that's did that before Europe.
Before
Name
Europe,
a name an empire that that was an issue with before Europe invented race.
I'll be honest with you, bro. I don't know.
It's never happened. That's why.
It makes
It's never
sense.
happened. Egypt had plenty of people coming in from all over the world. Rome had plenty of people coming in from all over the world. Um, no one decided that they wanted to be cool with people that look like them until Europeans created a caste system to justify enslaving and colonizing people called race.
It makes a lot of sense. I like listening to this stuff. It interests me very much so.
Europe definitely invented racism. Someone down there is very ignorant. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the comments. I'll go back to you. Go ahead. Um, keep going.
And do black men benefit from patriarchy? I don't think, a patriarchy where the eldest, no, I don't think anybody really benefits from patriarchy. I could be wrong. I think when one person has control of everything, that's an issue. Or whoever has the status or the age or who it's been passed on to, I don't believe anybody benefits from that. So I don't see how black men could. I can't speak it as a black man. I'm not a black man, but I don't see how that could.
I would
Um,
say there are people that benefit. That's why it exists. I mean, if something exists and no one benefits from it, then why would it exist? Someone
you're
likes it.
well, you're right. Yeah, people whoever has the patriarchy, which here in America we know where that goes. And then can black and white cultures fully coexist? I don't believe so. I think you have outliers. I think you have some people who are very ingrained into each culture from each race. Like there's some white people that are in black culture, there's some black people that are in white culture, but I don't think they coexist and commingle too well. Um, like I said, I like my prison experience. I know some people are like, oh,
One,
that's
can
not
I
real
ask you a
life.
question?
Yeah,
I
go
want to
ahead.
ask you a question. What's white culture? What is that? What culture do white people have? Can you help me understand that, please? Because I need some understanding. You know I'm a bit slow, so I need some comprehension or some more knowledge. What is white culture? What is that?
I honestly, I really don't know how to answer that question. I don't feel I live in that way. I feel like, yeah, I do get privileges from being white, which is crap, but I still try to go at life as working hard as I can for whatever I can get. But I don't ignore that fact, but I can't really answer that question. What is it? Um, I've,
All right, so you are a white man, you said, right?
yes,
How can you not tell me, a black man, what white culture is? That's extremely interesting to me. But okay, sir, you can continue. I just need
Excuse
some
me, what is
clarity.
black
You don't
culture?
even know what your
What is
culture
black
is. You don't
culture?
even know who you are. Some
Can you
guy fall
identify
back
what
before
black
you get
culture is?
clipped before it even starts. Yeah, you about to get the foul
well,
pause. You wildin'. But I wanted to ask one what the hell white culture is, because he's a white man. But if
the,
you so excited, some guy, can you explain to me what white culture is, sir,
Black
ma'am, or
culture
whatever
is a
you are up there?
subculture. Listen, listen. When you put a white culture for the whole
Some
damn
guy,
race,
some guy,
people,
some guy,
people in
some
Romania.
guy,
Excuse me,
Hold
some
I've been
guy,
on, G.
listening
Hold on.
to
Hold on.
all
Hold
this
on.
BS
Let
all
some
let
night.
her
guy.
go
Can you do
crazy.
your
Let
age,
that
race,
go
and
crazy.
pronouns
Now,
Yeah,
for
he
the
does have to keep
PTR?
his age,
let
race,
some
and
guy
pro.
go crazy. Hold on. Hold
Oh
on.
no, I think they're getting him
Listen,
up out of here. They're getting him
Oh
up out of
shit!
here.
are you telling me that someone from
Mm,
Romania, someone
mm,
who's white from
mm.
Romania, has the same culture as someone from
Damn,
Spain?
that's it. You
No,
No,
flip
no, we're not saying that.
not
You're talking about
religiously, not
Romanian and Spain
linguistically,
shit.
culture.
not
We're talking
socially.
about
They
white
ain't
culture.
wasting no time.
Some guy, you gone.
Yeah, he gone. All
I
right. Well, that
I
was
think
fun.
And you ain't coming back.
Yeah, he ain't coming back. Thank
Damn.
y'all for the
But go
pause.
ahead. You could
Appreciate you.
you could continue. I just
I'm
needed some enlightenment. That sounded like a
well.
white man. He should have been able to tell me, a black man, what white culture is. But I guess not.
I
Who
You
knew
You
it
can
was
came up
so
continue,
here with
brother.
all
offensive
of
to
Oh,
that
just
sir.
ask?
mayonnaise bravado, baby. That mayonnaise bravado was hectic.
Who knew it was offensive just to ask someone what their culture was? Like,
it,
that's crazy.
it's kind of hard to answer that because what I'm just a normal dude with a family, and I feel like a lot of people, like older dudes that are white, who hear the kind of music I listen to, they look at me crazy. So and my friends, a majority of my
What
friends are
music do you
African
listen
American.
to?
I listen to hip hop, I listen to blues, I listen to a lot of different
What would you
stuff.
say is white music?
I would say more like metal, rock. Um, but
Okay,
you got,
so let's say rock is white culture. Who invented rock?
man, honestly, there's a lot of you go back, and that was like that goes back many years, and I haven't done the research, but I've heard that
I mean, one
comes
starting
from
point would be there's a sister that really kilted with the electric guitar, but I forgot her name. Somebody can remind me down in the comments. But we could take it to Little Richard, who was the granddaddy of them all, and we could take it even before that, a step back to Chuck Berry. Um,
amazing artists. Yeah,
two black men. So
I I agree.
so you
Those were
understand
amazing.
how that's not white culture now. Because white culture is defined by what it is not. You can't have black people making white culture. You have to have white people making white culture. So what is white culture?
I honestly don't know how to answer that.
And then the man comes up
Like,
here and he says, not you, but the other guy comes up here and he says, what's black culture? What is black culture? Well, rock and
well,
roll, for one. Um, I guess all music
Jazz,
out of
hip hop,
America. Yeah,
country.
all of that is black
Or
culture,
simply, what YT people steal from.
pretty much.
Their existence, their mindset, the swag they think they have, everything that they built by way of what we originally did in a lot of ways. It's us.
And then we've
it,
got
But they in denial. You know how that shit go. But continue, bro.
what is probably why I have a lot of African American friends, because
Did
you
you
look at
just say
culture, they
black people? Did you just sit here and tokenize black people? Is that what you just did?
no, never. I
No,
try
no,
not.
you
I
did.
try to be what they say politically correct. I don't.
Oh shit!
I'm a
I
very
got
humble
black
person.
friends. Oh, can I tell you why that's problematic? The "I got black friends" comment.
Please,
Can I tell you why?
please.
Because, first of all, and this is just on a personal level, I'm pretty sure your black friends didn't become your friends so you can tokenize them in front of black people in online spaces.
Mm.
I'm pretty sure. That's just on a personal level. But from a white privilege, systemic racism level, it lets us know that you're willing to put us up as an example when we've already been made an example throughout society on a regular basis. Like, we have to deal with it on a regular basis. Your microaggressions, you know, being marginalized in pretty much every fabric of society, every part of fabric of society. So tokenizing us is actually just, it just leads us to believe that you lean into your privilege as opposed to trying to deconstruct it and not use us as an example, because we're used as examples, as I said, every single day.
I
But you
absolutely
know,
understand.
go off though. Go off though.
No. There's nothing to go off about. I just have to break it down how it is. Like, most of my friends are black.
Excuse me.
So
Can I just say one more thing? You need to learn your culture, so you can be able to tell everybody else what your culture is.
uh,
Cause I'm embarrassed for you. This sounds ridiculous.
the problem is the people who have tried to tell me what my culture is, it is always some very extreme, ridiculous bullshit, in my opinion, and it always comes down to being a very, I don't know what the, very racist from the
All right, let
people
me
who
ask you
try to
this. What
push
kind of
it.
seasonings you got in your cupboards?
I
Let me
mean, if
ask you,
I were
let's check
you,
in.
this is how I would answer that question. If I was a white man, right? Let me show him how. Let me see. I'm gonna
Here
put.
we go.
I'm gonna picture like mayonnaise in between my ears. I'm gonna just think like I have a pointy nose, and when I close my mouth, I can't see my lips. All right, so um, I would say there's no such thing as white culture. I participate in American culture, but that exists only because of the contributions of Black people. Um, I participate in Italian culture, but that only exists because of Italy's relationship with Africa. I only participate, like you could bring up any culture, even Anglo-Saxon culture. The first Britons were black. So, um, even Russian culture, Pushkin was black. Like they're great theologists and priests were black. So, um, like you can say you are part of these other cultures that white people have now, uh, you know, created nations with, and did their thing. But it's not white culture. Though none of those cultures are white culture, but they're cultures in white country, primarily white countries.
I
So
got a question.
yeah.
I got a question.
Hmm.
Do you wash your legs? Do you use a washcloth? And do you have anything outside of salt and pepper in your seasoning cupboard? Do you have a seasoning cupboard? These are legitimate questions.
Oh
Asking
yeah,
for a friend.
all of that. Yeah.
White culture is not using seasoning. Actually, that is another one. That goes back to France, in the Victorian era, but yeah, France, 1800s. They stopped using seasoning. So yeah,
That's interesting. And like I said, I kind of jumped into this, listened to some things, thought it was interesting. Um,
yeah.
very. I don't know a lot of the
You
answers to
got
a
to
lot
get
of
to
the
the last
questions.
question. One. Hold on. Yeah, I thought I was
Okay.
muted. God damn. I interrupted you. You was in the middle of can black and YT culture coexist. I cut you off because I had a question about YT culture or your culture. You couldn't tell me that, but you got to answer the last one up there. Don't
Um.
run. Don't drop.
Oh,
We need
okay.
to hear from you, sir.
So does it extend to Middle Eastern? I think so. And the reason I think so is because where the Christian religion comes from is from Middle East, and I believe that they try to push Christianity on Americans. And here, at least here in America, I feel like it's almost, yeah, it extends to them because it goes down to religious like stuff. I know that sounds very
Wow.
uneducated. I just
No. Actually, that was spot on. You channeled your ancestors with that answer. That is literally the reason white privilege extends to Middle Eastern people, because they believe Jesus came from there, and they refuse to let Middle Eastern people be West Asian because they worship that God and they have to make them white. So that is literally the reason why. You actually got a straight A plus plus on that last answer. That is exactly why.
yeah, and to me,
Shout out to you, man. Look, you get the small clap. That's literally why. You went straight to the core. I don't know. It was in you. You just knew the answer.
I've seen it. I've seen it a lot, but I appreciate y'all bringing me on, hearing what I believe and see. I gotta take care of the kids. I'm gonna keep
All right.
listening.
All right. Thanks for coming up. Have a good day.
You too.
Night.
Sir, white man, thank you for letting me know that you as a white man can't tell me what white culture is. I appreciate that too.
He don't
Hey,
leave
And
it
him
I'm
is
just
what
alone.
it
happy
is.
you
We don't
wash
have
your
a
ass.
culture.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, don't antagonize him. He did the best he could. All right, y'all. Tap like, tap like, tap like, tap like. Don't forget to tap like, man. Everybody that owns a washcloth, if there's a washcloth in the vicinity of your bathroom, please tap like. Brothers, if you have your own washcloth for your face to to wash your face with a separate washcloth with your beard, tap like. If you don't eat pumpkin pie, and I don't know, you might have a pumpkin spice latte. I don't know, but anyone that doesn't like pumpkin spice, tap like. Anybody that eats raisins by themselves in Raisin Bran or not at all, tap like. If you eat Raisin Bran, we might give you a pass, but you can't put raisins in anything else. If you put raisins in anything else, do not tap like, please. Don't do that one. And we'll just keep it going. Mariah, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please? Oh, wait. Hold on. Everybody that eats butter pecan ice cream, please, I need y'all to tap like as well. All right, go ahead, Mariah.
50K likes, y'all. Tap, tap, tap. Come on, y'all. Fill the bar. Let's get to 50,000. Tap, tap.
I've been up here before. I was trying to talk to the gentleman down there. I was requesting for a minute. I was trying to like explain to him what tokenizing means because I don't think he actually understood it. So that's what I was trying to
Yeah, he
do.
probably thought we was talking about Chuck E. Cheese.
I said, yeah, the G actually corrected him on that. I don't think he actually caught it in the beginning, so that's why I was trying to come up and teach him a little something.
All right.
I actually did want to say there was somebody in the comments that said Europe didn't invent racism, and then someone said, "You're right, Europe didn't invent racism, it was the Europeans." But actually, I just want to say that the Europeans refined racism and codified it because the casting system of African or black erasure is an ancient practice. So yes, the Europeans codified it and refined it, but you're right, they learned that shit from their big brothers. So keep reading, do your research, go and look it up, and you'll find it. But yeah, they're actually relatively new to this thing in the context of time, or at least the timeline that we've been given. So, yeah, but I'm just going to go back on mute. I digress.
I think a lot of white people are, and I feel like in this day and age and all the internet that we have and all the social medias that we have, if you are blatantly choosing not to understand or blatantly choosing not to listen, then you're just being ignorant on purpose. I mean Google is free, you guys. Literally, it's free. You can type, even if you don't know what to type, just start from somewhere. Start, your actual history. Start not the textbook Pilgrim we came on a boat. The real history behind what they didn't teach you in school, because they're not going to teach you real history in school. You have to do that on your own.
Absolutely. Well, since you're up here, Mariah, you want to answer the questions for us?
Sure.
Do white people experience racism? Absolutely not. Do black men benefit from patriarchy? Honestly, I'm a little slow because I'm not really sure what patriarchy is. I don't want to answer something I don't know. I know that sounds
Right.
stupid.
Well, patriarchy is a system of power uh, where men are given power and women are largely excluded from it. The current patriarchy, however, is, and I'm just giving this out for free, white patriarchy. We don't have a true patriarchy
No.
in the West, in America, and even in other places. The patriarchy usually refers to like the founding fathers, who most of the presidents have been, except for Barack Obama. But even Barack Obama couldn't truly start a black patriarchy. Like he was still succumb to the
A pawn.
patriarchy.
Just
Yeah,
say it, brother. He was just a pawn. Just say
yeah,
it.
right, yeah, yeah, right.
No, black men do not benefit from patriarchy.
Mm-hmm.
Can black and white cultures fully coexist? I'm gonna not say fully. I can say partially because there is some white people who are just not gonna get it, and they are gonna be blatantly just ignorant on purpose. So, do I think that that is a good environment? No. So I'm gonna say halfway. Can white privilege extend to Middle Eastern people? I've never heard that before. I would say no because we're two different people. Um,
The question is, do white people consider Middle Eastern people white?
I would say they did until 9/11, maybe, and then hell broke loose, and they just
They still
Wow.
do.
basically
Is
tried
Kim
to make
Kardashian white?
one more time.
Is Kim Kardashian white?
Absolutely. Well,
Okay,
no, no, I don't think she is. I think she is
you
Middle
had it right
Eastern.
at first time.
Well, then yeah, I guess yeah.
She definitely is. I don't
I
know
was like,
what
yeah,
world
she's
you're on.
white, but I think her father is like it was Italian or some other. She wasn't white. He was something else. I can't like put my finger
Italian
on.
is white.
Okay. Well, yeah, then it. Well, yeah, because race and ethnicity is two different things.
There you go.
Yes, I'm learning. I'm I'm getting the difference. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely have to get
Well,
my
on the
research
U.S.
done.
Census, Middle Eastern people have to check the white box. They're white. U.S. Census. So the people in the patriarchy that run and perpetuate and benefit from systems of race
Right.
have included them. Um, Even if they're not completely phenotypically white, they've given them some wiggle room.
Right.
They
Because
you if you type white on the I mean if you check the white box on the census, they're gonna arrest you for fraud. Okay, so
You dead ass?
that's it.
You serious? Oh shit.
Yeah. So that's that.
that's crazy.
So yeah. All
So
right.
I can't Rachel Dolezal the other way around. I can't put down that I'm Robert Williams or some shit like that. I can't put
Yeah.
that
I
down.
mean, I've heard that there's been brothers and sisters that put it on their job applications, but that interview doesn't go well.
Yeah, that in the census is two different things. But yeah,
Yeah.
it makes sense, man. You get caught up for fraud in this country for that shit. Yeah, that's
I
crazy.
mean,
I didn't
I'm
even know
done.
that. I didn't even think about that shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we don't have bigger things to worry about than what box we check on the census.
I'm just saying. Um, is it give me? Could you
Give
give
me
us
the
your age,
crown.
race, and pronouns?
Yes, I'm black. He said my age, I'm 27, and pronouns is she, her.
All right, and answer the questions for us.
Um, YT people cannot experience racism. I feel like with racism, like it revolves around like if you're being oppressed and White people can't be oppressed.
Everybody's got to mute.
We might have.
I'm sorry. You can go ahead, sister.
So, no to that first one. Um, I would say no to that second one too. Let me see. Can black and white tea? Do you guys feel like there is white tea culture? Like,
I do. People disagree with me, but I do. I think it exists.
not like a collective white tea culture, like just based
Yeah,
on white. I don't feel like
absolutely.
there
There's
is.
many things that they have in common.
And
I don't feel like
example?
there's any white culture besides like racism and like capitalism. That's just
Um,
my opinion.
Racism, capitalism, assimilation,
Theft.
um, yep, colonization, enslavement.
Okay, so like whenever I was
Not
saying
like
that, I
the
was saying
mayor.
like anything that like besides that what you just named, white tea culture. So
It's pretty much just stealing other people's shit and stealing people.
yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Um, so this next one, can you explain that one to me?
Can white privilege extend to Middle Eastern people? So, I've had quite a few people when I ask the name, age, race, and pronouns question when they come up here. They're like, I'm Middle Eastern. Or we'll have a live where we talk about the early depictions of Jesus Christ, and people say he was Middle Eastern. And I'm always like,
Well,
but
I
you
would say
can,
yes. I would say yes.
yeah.
Um, I don't want to be rude, like, so the woman below me, like, are you white?
Nah, I think she assisted. Mariah, you're a black woman, correct?
I am not. I am a white woman.
Oh shit! How
Yeah,
did you
'cause
slip that past
it
me?
did sound like you had
Oh
a
no.
black accent, so I was kind of
Did
like I
she
went to her
answer the
page.
age, race, pronouns question?
I went to
I
her
think
page and I was a little
I'm
bit offended.
offended.
What?
Okay, so it's not just me. Okay. All right, I'm offended as you know what? I'm gonna go back on mute.
Yeah, 'cause
Wait,
she like she using
hold on,
AAVE, and it's like, no, girl, you're not black.
hold on. Did you answer age, race, and pronouns, Mariah?
I was, and then you stopped it, and then you said you were saying something to somebody else.
Damn, this is why
So
So can
context
I ask you a
matters.
question,
Because now
girl?
I have
Like,
to
why are
reevaluate
you
our whole conversation. Because it's different. The reason I asked what race you are is because if a sister comes up here and says, "Hey guys, we should all go back to Africa," I'm gonna be like, "Hell yeah, that's what's up, sister." But if a white tea frosted female
the
come up here
AAVE
and
for
she
me?
says, "Hey, y'all should all go back to Africa," it's a completely different conversation. You see what I'm saying? So I need the context of what team you're on, so I can kind of so.
Yeah, I miss that shit
The
too. I ain't gonna lie, but you know I'm in
AAVE
and out.
is
I'm
like
not even really
y'all
paying
are.
attention. That's crazy.
Can we get to the root of the issue? Because, girl, you blackfished us with that voice, okay? I
no,
need to know why you think it's appropriate to come into a black space using AAVE. And I'm only speaking to you this way because I'm a black Canadian, and I even think putting on that AAVE sometimes can be inappropriate. So
don't
I'm
have.
just asking you why you feel like
I don't.
you can come into a black space and do it.
I don't.
People in the comments, somebody in the comments said she had black kids. Okay, so we
Mm-mm.
giving her a pass because she got biracial kids.
No, that would mean I would be talking
I'm
to them. But I don't. I don't have AAV though. I've actually been working on my speech, so I'm confused because I've had a lot of people say that it's different, and then now you're saying I have AAVE, so I'm confused.
okay. So we're gonna just try to reel it back here. So you're saying that for you to speak in the English that you are supposed to speak, which is like proper English, right? Um, you're saying that's not possible because you're working on your speech.
Well, it sounds pretty calm to me. I don't know what the AAB is to you, I guess.
Oh, so
Girl, you
okay,
know what
so
it is.
because I'm a black person, even though I may not
Yeah,
sound quote unquote
because I mean,
black.
if I was to start talking and I started talking like this and I do, it'd be different. But I'm not. Like I've toned
Uh,
it down. I've calmed it down
Ma'am,
a lot,
ma'am,
actually.
you
um,
need to change your profile pic.
Why?
Your profile pic is very deceiving. And the fact that we missed this shit is crazy.
it's crazy.
Your profile pic is very deceiving. But continue,
Shit,
y'all. That's
wow.
cray.
I'm
Yeah,
offended as
if you go to her
hell.
her
Thank you to the
posts, her
sister.
timeline, it's complete. It's a whole nother.
Yeah,
Hey,
because
Hold
yo.
on,
I
bro.
was in the
Yo, this
comments
shit
and I was
crazy.
like, I gotta come up and address this. Like, is she YT? Like, and they're not saying nothing about her black scent. Something's wrong.
Yeah,
Nah, you
no,
know
thank you
something's
so much for
wrong. You know
pointing it
I ain't
out.
going for none of that. That's crazy. She slipped one under me, man. I listen. She got past me, man. That's crazy. Cause I got
No,
I
why
can't
these
got my
panther
shades
paws
on.
are
I can't
not
see
like?
way over
Why
there. I
are
don't got
these
my
panther?
contacts
Where
in
are the
today.
panther paws, y'all? I'm
Oh
looking for
man, that's
panther
crazy. But all
paws,
right,
y'all.
so what did she say offensive? Did she say anything offensive, or did she just sound offensive?
I
She
guess
Because she
she
sounded
definitely
said
sounds
offensive.
offensive. But
You
go
sound
ahead.
Yeah, she
offensive.
sounds offensive.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's crazy. Well, do you have a black significant other in your life, Mariah?
yes, my husband is black.
Mm. Would you say your husband and you? Would you say you guys are pro-black or
Yes,
anti-racist?
both.
So what do you know about being pro-black?
What do you mean?
What is pro-black to you? What does that mean?
What does pro-black mean to me?
Mm-hmm.
Protecting, protecting the culture, protecting black women, standing up, speaking out when need be, not letting shit just fly under the rug, not um, teaching my kids their true culture, making sure that I'm educated so that I can educate my kids. Um, just as far as like dog whistles, I've just learned that type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Mm. That all sounds very anti-racist to me. So, pro-blackness is aligning prioritizing your actions and values with what's in the best interest of empowering the black community. There's many ways to do that, but there's also one way to empower a community, and it usually starts with the family. Um, I would I would say a thin-lipped woman with a brother can be anti-racist, and there's nothing wrong with that. We actually would on this live encourage that. However, I wouldn't say that you can be pro-black. Um, I would say that also your man's choice in not being with a sister immediately disqualifies him from being pro-black. I mean, even if it doesn't have to be a sister, but if he's if he likes men, then he could be with a brother. But to go outside the community and still say that you empower and prioritize empowering the community are antithetical to each other. So um, I would say you using AAVE as someone outside of our community that cannot do things in the best interest of our community, but rather just undo harm that's been done by your own ancestors is appropriation. And why do you speak like this?
I guess it's how I speak. I don't.
Stay
Who
off of
taught you that?
Instagram.
I don't
Whoa,
And where are
speak
you
Vicky is a
from?
boldly.
terrible
What city are
inspiration.
you
Bad
from?
baby, all of them. Stop doing it.
Hold on. What city are you from?
Definitely don't sound like I'm from Illinois.
And you're from
Chicago.
Illinois. It's
Okay.
not even like,
Oh
okay. Oh
Lord.
my God. Oh my God.
There's a lot going on here.
I don't hear it. So
Whoa, Vicky, bad
Because
baby,
she probably
all
feel
of
like
these.
it's okay to wear braids too.
I
Oh
definitely
my God. Please don't.
Have you ever in your life had braids or cornrows?
Have I ever? Yes. Do I
Oh
now?
my God.
You
Nah.
know what?
Oh, yeah, I'm
You
dropping.
you
Yeah,
put
yeah, I'm gonna drop.
cornrows in
I'm gonna
your
drop.
head?
That's crazy. Listen, this is the problem.
I am
With
so upset.
appropriation, it's just it's tone deaf. Um, I feel like brothers that do this look for a certain type, and we've all seen it before. So thanks for coming up. Have a day.
I
Oh,
think
she's
we
gone.
all
Oh,
have to
she left.
collectively take the L on that one. We
Yeah,
all collectively have to take the
Yo,
L on that.
listen, I'm really gonna
I
drop.
got.
Listen, I feel ashamed. I missed it too. Listen, the fact that
Yo,
give me pointed it out, and I had to go back. I said, wait, hold on.
I
And
can't
I looked
That's
at
believe
the
the host
crazy.
profile
allowed
pic,
that
and
to
then I
happen.
went to the profile, and I swiped down. I said, "What in the catfish is going on here?
Yo,
That's Rachel Dolezal for
hold on,
Look,
real."
nah, cause
I was
a
there.
lot of
That
those
really just
white
happened.
people, they
That
come
really just
into
happened.
black
Listen, I'm gonna drop y'all.
spaces.
Y'all be easy. Just
They
tap the
always
screen, share the
do
live.
it.
I'm gone. I'm
I
out.
speak.
I can't. I missed that shit. I'm out.
Yo, everybody in the comments, y'all need to start posting milk. That little tooth emoji, the little white squares. Y'all gotta start letting people know, cause she got past us way too easy, y'all. Y'all supposed to be my security system. Y'all
honestly,
ain't got
we
nothing to do down there. I'm up here
collectively
in
took the
front of the
L.
camera. Y'all gotta let me know down there now. Come on, y'all should have been putting red flags. Y'all know how y'all do. Look, she got the mayonnaise emoji. If you subscribe, you can get the mayonnaise emoji. If you subscribe up
We
there somewhere.
collectively took that L, yo. I'm gonna hang my head in shame on this one. I'm so sorry, Legend. I fucked up. My bad, Joe. I usually do good recon. I feel so. Thank you again to the sister that came out here and was like,
Thank you to
red
the
alert.
sister. Absolutely.
No
Um,
problem. No
yeah.
problem.
And she knew. She knew. Hopefully this ain't the first time you came on my live, but yeah,
This is
like
my first time on your live, but like I was saying, like I've seen a lot of YC people come into black spaces and they just weird. And whenever she was talking, like I said, I was confused because I'm like, wait, do they know that she's white? Because I
not a clue.
actually went on her TikTok and saw that like her videos, she was a white woman.
Damn,
So I was like, oh no.
that's crazy. That's crazy. Well, um, thank you again. We don't do that up here. Um, I'm gonna just give a special shout out to Black women, man. We love y'all. Let's balance the energy. Bring the Orishas, the ancestors back here, the original blueprint. We love y'all. We love you. You're melanin. You're beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Let's sprinkle some black girl magic all over the live now to cleanse. We need a washcloth to cleanse the live now. Oh my goodness. Uh, Basic Ben, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Hi everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Oh, hello. So my name is Benedict Ibanez. So my nickname is Benji. So call me Benji. I am 18 years of age and I am Asian.
Okay, thanks for coming up. And go ahead and answer the questions for us, top to bottom, please.
Oh, good. So the first question is, so do white people experience racism? So before I answer this question, I want to give out my perspective on what racism is. So for me, racism is like a sub-branch of racial prejudice. So what is racial prejudice for me? So racial prejudice is like the mother branch of all discriminations based of race. So it's defined as a personal hatred or aggression towards someone because of their race. And this is applicable to any race. So for example, someone can be, an Asian person can be racially prejudiced to a black person. A black person can be racially prejudiced to a white person. A white person can be racially prejudiced to an Asian person, vice versa. And this is applicable to anyone. But for me, racism is a type of racial prejudice. So it's like a systemic form of racial prejudice, which involves only one dominant race, which is white. So for me, do white people experience racism? No. because it's a systemic form of racism where white people are the dominant ones who
All right. Well, y'all didn't want her up here. I don't know what.
Listen,
They just
I
contradicted
just
themselves.
wanted to ask one question. I was just gonna ask, why is there a black woman in your profile picture? Like, I just, what are we doing
TikTok.
here?
TikTok be talking. I don't know what be going on. It's crazy. Thank you, me, myself, and I, for the Panther pause. Me, myself, and I don't be playing. So, I'm gonna go to the next guest, Prince. What's good, brother? Did you want to speak again?
No. I was coming here for that white woman that was, trying to.
Yeah.
I was trying to, but yeah, the sisters take care of
Becky
that
with the
most
black scent.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Becky with the black scent. That's what we call it. Mega, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns?
Yes, I can. I am 52. I'm Italian, and my pronouns is just regular he, him, all that.
Italian's not a race. Are you a black Italian, a white Italian, an Asian Italian? What is your race?
Ita- Italian, Italian is considered a race by some, but I am white.
Okay. And go ahead and answer the questions for us top to bottom.
All right, hold on. I gotta get back to the screen. I pressed the wrong button. All right. So the first one, when I started working in East New York, I was the only white man in the whole bus depot where I worked at.
Not the
Right?
only Italian man?
No, I was the only Italian guy too. Yeah. The ones that the Italians went to Ulmer Park, Ulmer, but I didn't go there. I went to East New York because the train took me right there, right
Mm-hmm.
from my house, and they all thought I was what they call a beak, which is a
Mm-hmm.
company detective, right? So for like the first 2-3 weeks I worked there, nobody would talk to me, and I was like, "What's the deal?" And it turned out after I got to know everybody, they thought I was the company detective, and I was because they wanted to know why would a white guy pick East New York depot and not the Italian depot. And the reason was only because the train took me right there.
If I mix marshmallows and mayonnaise, does it make banana pudding?
Oh, I don't know. I don't like marshmallows. What do you say? What do you mean?
We are far off the topic. I don't know what you're talking about.
I was experienced racism because I was white in
Oh, okay.
in
That's
East New
cool.
York
I
Wait,
depot.
knew it.
how do
Have
you
a nice day.
experience
I knew
racism in that?
Nah, they got him up out of here. Thank you, Francesca, me, myself, and I. They got him up out of here. Thank you. I don't know what the hell he was talking about. Like, it's hard for me to take him seriously sometimes when they're being that disingenuous. Jared, what's going on?
Oh, hey, I've been on here before.
Yeah.
I'm free black,
Mm-hmm.
use all pronouns, and
Mm-hmm.
what else do I need to say?
Age.
I said that 33.
Okay. Go ahead,
Oh,
family.
but I already knew where Homeboy was going with that.
Yeah, I wasn't listening.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they always forget that the part of where they go into these spaces knowing exactly what it is and that they could benefit off of that, because I guarantee you, Homeboy went over there because he knows he's at the bottom of the barrel in his category. So
Mm-hmm.
why not go into a black space, well, a predominantly black space in a work environment, and take control of that situation, get promotions faster than the other people that have been in that area, in that sector for years, and probably know more than you do, that type of shit. But you want to sit here and try to call it reverse racism when you know damn well your actions in fact are racist, because you know that your privilege is going to allow you to excel in that space based off of the people that run the space, because more than likely they're white tea just like you are.
Right.
And the fact that those people didn't trust you, they had the right to feel that way because you did exactly what they expected you to do, even though they thought you were a industry plant, whatever you want to call it, it still doesn't take away from the fact that they knew that whatever intentions you had were not positive. They did not benefit them in any way.
Yeah. Oh, that's facts.
Originally, I requested up here because homegirl, she knew what she was doing, but she also was honest about it. But she kind of let it slide when you didn't call her out on it and ask her about her race to repeat it again. But she did mention the fact that she was a white woman. She alluded to the fact that she was a white woman in her conversation. I was listening to it, but I was also driving from work, so I couldn't say anything. That's why I
What
was
did
like,
she allude to? Please. Where did I
so
miss it?
when it came to the Middle Eastern comment, she was like, "Well, they're not like us," referring to white people.
Oh.
And that's why I was like, "Oh, she's white because she sound." Even though I hate when people do that, but the dialect, the cadence of her voice, and it was given. It was given sister. You called her sister. I was like, why is he calling this white woman a
Oh,
sister?
because that's how you know, because you've been up here before. You know I ain't calling.
That's yes. I was like, why is he calling her? Is he giving her a pass? Like, what the fuck is really
Hell
going
no.
on? I was so confused, but I was like, let me pull into the parking lot and I'm gonna say something. But then another a sister called her out, and I was like, okay, well, I don't have to say nothing. But when they were about to go in, I was like, don't go in on her too hard because she really did like kind of allude
Try.
to the fact. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
she didn't want them problems, but at the same time, she was being truthful. But what took me out was the whole I'm anti-racist and I'm pro-black, but I have black children and a black partner, and I wear black cultural hairstyles, even though I just said
Yeah.
I should call it out when I see it fit. But you didn't see it fit when you did it because the proximity that you have to blackness gives you an entitlement to be able to do these things that black people do. But
Right.
when overtly racist people are out here is when you have an issue with it. So you're
Right.
a covert racist and you just don't even know it.
Yeah.
But
Man, that's crazy. I hate it when Cornell West calls non-black people brother and sister. So that's not something I do. If I call you brother, sister, or family member, the family member is me being respectful of the they them pronouns, and I just keep it pushing because I see us all as the same people. But I'm talking to us. I wish there was an app just for us so I could have this live. But until then, I'm going to refer affectionately to those in my identified group.
they tried to create an app for us. It was supposed to be called Black Space, but then of course our people. Not all our people are for our people, and you start off with a good intention just because you have a great vision, but then you're sitting over here taking money from YT people to fund the startup, and they're changing the whole vision of what the space is supposed to actually be, and then they're benefiting off of it financially. It defeats the point. We might
Yeah,
as well stay on this little clock app and continue to give other people our coins and attention and at least make
yeah,
some type of monetary value off of it.
right. The thing is, even though we start the wave on these social media apps like Clubhouse and even here during the pandemic, and the Black Woman Follow Train really grew a lot of accounts. Like we start the wave on these apps, but that white audience is what gets the popularity of the app to more black people. Like it's unfortunate that we can make an app for brothers and sisters, but the problem is it won't have the ranking in the app store because it don't have them to even get it to more brothers and sisters, because a lot of us are not checking for an app unless it's
It's popularized.
you see what I'm saying? And what makes it popularized is participation from outside of our group. So that's the thing I've seen other apps struggle with. Spill, I'm on Spill, I'm on Blackum, I'm on Blamazon.
I think there was one called Fan
My
Base as
God.
well.
But go ahead, sir.
I think there was one called Fanbase, and yes, Blamazon is still up and at 'em. They're still working on that as well. Real quick, just for y'all in the comments that are talking about segregation, why 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 is it when black people want to create spaces for themselves, y'all want to throw out these terms like segregation? That was never our thing. That was y'all thing. What
Correct.
we're talking about is creating spaces because integration, which happened after segregation, also did not work. So we did both. We did both. The ways that y'all wanted to do is segregation and integration, and neither of them worked out. Although economically, I think we were better off during segregation, but then
Facts.
again, y'all went and bombed the shit out of our places. So I
Facts.
just, so I just kind of, but
Burnt it down,
what we
flooded
want to
it.
do is empower ourselves. We want to create our own spaces, baby. We're not doing segregation. We're just saying y'all are not invited. But yes, brother, go ahead, Jared.
No. You're 100% right. And every time we create a safe space for ourselves, somebody either infiltrates it, burns it down, floods it. Uh, I can't say the other word, but basically takes out a whole bunch of people in those communities because they see the benefits that we have where we could get along with each other and not have to have outside influences. It bothers them for us to be unbothered.
And they just echo the voices of their ancestors when they do that because um
I don't
Nah,
agree. I
child, they
you
got
know
they got forefathers. They ain't got ancestors. Okay, that's us. They
yeah,
got
right, okay.
forefathers.
That's
Bye,
facts.
Harvey. Bye. Harvey
All
was
right.
pressed,
Oh yeah, I don't know what happened to him. All right.
dropped, pressed.
Lily, could you give us you funny, bro. Lily, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Hi, I'm Lily. I'm 20 years old and I'm they them. Hi, legend. Hi, everyone.
What's going on, family?
I don't know. I just wanted to come up here and kind of join in on the discussion. I agree with that. Well, some of the agreements. I don't think white people can experience racism, even from a historical level. I see a lot of white people use Oxford when it's not American, but it's not historically accurate. When we talk about definitions, we talk about segregation, all of these things that historically happened. I really do hope people use the more historically and more currently accurate definition for these things. So by this, black people cannot. They actually benefit from racism more than they can experience. If they do experience it, they usually turn it into like a marketing moment. Certain things, and you see this all the time. You see white people can't dance. They made money off that white people can't dance. They use it as comedy and they're making money off these stereotypes and all these supposed racism that they experience. So whether they do or not, they still make money off it anyway. Um, I don't really think black men really benefit from patriarchy simply because they're black. I feel like in some ways they do it because they're men. But based off it, I see they more so negatively be affected by it than positively be affected because it really pushes those certain stereotypes like, oh, black men are so much stronger than all these things. And, I feel like they more so negatively, like, just be brought down from the whole patriarchal system. Plus, it wasn't made for black men. It was made for white men. It's just white men. So I don't really see how they can benefit except for the fact that they're men. But even then, I wouldn't completely agree with that. Um, do black and white? I don't think they. White culture doesn't exist. I don't know what that is. If you could tell me what that is, I would be more than happy to, I guess, look into that. But I don't know what white culture is at
I
all.
know what it is, but
What is
people
it?
disagree with me. I don't. I mean, I go by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing and Neely Fuller. So it is a culture built on assimilation, colonization, enslavement, uh, many other atrocities across the world, basically stealing people and people's shit. Uh,
Yeah. When you put it like that, I
that's
mean,
that's what some of us don't want to qualify that as a
I say
culture, but that is
white culture is colonization. White culture is colonization, and that's it. Come with everything. Colonization coming with stealing everything, stealing pretty much. It's just colonization. Everything, everywhere they go, they take over, and they take over everything. That's what they do. They've been doing it for a generation, and we've seen that. So white culture is colonization. Let's give that to them.
yeah,
They can
pretty
have
much.
that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Dr. Frances Cress Welsing says, well, she's old, so back in the day, people used to come up and say, "What's happening, brother? What's happening, sister?" She said, "Don't say what's happening. we should be saying, you know what's happening, right? Like, don't act like you don't know what's happening. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to their culture, we know what's happening. It's just, we don't consider it a culture because our culture is food and rhythm and spirit and, you're building shit. But theirs is tearing shit down and, colonization and, all that. So.
Yeah, I mean, even by that, I don't think I don't think they can coexist because they're just end up taking over everybody from Black culture and just kind of doing the shit they used to. So absolutely not. I don't think they can. And I really, at this point, do we really even want that at this point? Like, I'm all for inclusivity. I'm all for like being together, but in starting things, just kind of like we can enjoy each other and our existence, but from a distance. We don't need to fully just be like as one. I feel like sometimes we just like just coexist from distance rather than like be grouped up into one.
Yeah, oneness is part of their culture, and forced assimilation is also part of their culture. We were fine being in our diverse cultures on the continent of Africa. They have a
Hey,
problem
wait
with
a
that
second.
because
Can I
they want to
speak up
come
on here real
in on
quick?
it. Just a moment, Mr. McFly. Um, where was I? Oh yeah, so their cultures can't accept us being on our own, standing on 143 trillion dollars worth of resources on African soil. So their culture is to come and try to take that from us.
Yeah, no, never mind.
So,
My bad.
yeah.
I just wanted to tell Lily that the reason why it can still be considered a culture is because it's still practiced today. And what a lot of white tea people don't realize is when we're talking about white tea structures and systems that are in place, we're talking about the 1%. They're the ones who benefit the most, and they use them as pawns. They get offended when we talk about these things because they're not understanding that they're not even relevant in this conversation. They just help perpetuate it.
That's interesting.
All right. So, Lily, are you ready? You done?
Yeah, I can't really answer for the last one. I'm not
Okay.
educated
Oh,
on
okay.
that. Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate you for coming up. Mr. McFly, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Dude, I'm a man. There ain't no damn pronouns. You're either a man or a woman. You got a pecker or you got a cunt. One or two. There ain't
Div,
no difference.
Div.
All right. So he, she,
You
or
know
they.
I
Pick
is a
one, or I'll
pronoun,
pick one
right?
for you. Hold on.
You know
Well,
I
hey,
is a
well, hold on a
pronoun.
second. I don't give a shit about all that pronoun stuff.
All right.
I
So,
was just happened to
are
be
you
passing
offended by
by,
it?
You just
and
used
I
the
see a thing
pronoun.
here that says, "Do white people experience racism?" Well, let me tell you that. Let me tell you.
Tell you that. Hey, thank you for the
My
pep
God.
applause. We ain't want to hear what he want to tell us. We ain't want to hear nothing he had to tell us. Y'all been telling us too much. We talking
Was it
all
not
over us.
giving uncle, cousin, brother vibes?
Right. Exactly. Right. My mom and my
It was
aunt are the
giving
same
I
person.
play the spoons and spit in a tin can.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Exactly.
I digress.
Mm-hmm. Texas Chainsaw type stuff. Um,
Hills.
God Dog. Oh yeah. Instead of
Hello?
hillbilly, I think the proper term is William Mountain. William Mountain people. God Dog. Could you give us your age, race, and pronouns?
50, white, he, him,
Your age?
50.
Okay. Go
Yeah,
ahead and answer the
yeah.
questions
I'd just
for
like
us.
to say, I'd just like to say, um, I think the white race has decimated and torn apart Africa. I completely understand and accept that, and understand why you feel the way you do, because I understand if you're in America or wherever you are, torn away from your motherland, and you feel I'm sure there's a lot of you don't even, a lot of BK people don't know what actual country they even came from, and I can imagine, I can only imagine what that must be like. But talking as regards the slave trade, it was still when you think, for example, Britain, for all it's got a lot to answer for and everything it's done, but it was still 80% of the country were actual working class, and by working class that they were like living in virtual poverty. When the Industrial Revolution was going, had just started, there were children in factories working 12-hour days. So the majority of the white folk, would have hated the people that were doing in the slave trade as much as the black people that were being exploited.
So
So
then why didn't they stop them?
because they're poor. That we were under the
But
cosh.
if there were so many of them, I mean, it don't matter how poor you are. Why didn't they stop them? Why did they participate? Why did they
Well,
decide
then,
to come
okay,
to America and participate?
going in that on that logic, if you say that, why didn't the black people, if there's so many of them, stop the white people doing it? That's going with your logic. What I'm saying,
Well, that's simple.
if
There's a
80% of the
simple
people,
explanation to that.
if 80% of
There's a simple explanation to that. It's because the black people were in chains and held at gunpoint and whipped and, a lot of other gross
what do you
atrocities.
think?
Those
What do
white
you
poor
think?
people that you're talking about were not.
Yeah.
They were not slaved. They were not enslaved just like the black people. And don't even try to push that bullshit because
So
there was no sunblock back then.
how
We
did the
both
poor
know
people
that they
rise
was
up?
not out in the hot sun picking cotton with us. So don't play with me.
No, but you
I got a
need to
question.
research a little bit
Can I
more
ask a
about
question?
what the
Everybody say
working
put
classes were
F1 in the
like. 'Cause
comments.
they didn't have any power. Do you think they could have overthrown
They
their
had plenty of
masters?
power, and there was more of them
Listen,
Can
than there
listen.
were enslaved Africans. So why didn't
My
they do anything
grandmother.
about it if they were so good and nice? And why
Do
would
you
they
know what?
decide to come
Can
to
I just ask you
America?
a question? Can I ask you a
I
question? Do you know what
actually I
do you know what your grandmother did when she was? What did your grandmother do when
And
she
that's
was?
another thing that you said that was incorrect. You said that we don't know what country we're from. Do you know only Europeans gave a damn about and defined their nation by the land that they were on? Before European colonization, countries and um, nations were determined by ancestry, not land. Like if you read the Bible, it says the nation of Israel, and this
Oh,
person begat that person, the 12 tribes of Judah. How they all had nations, but it was determined by your ancestry, your lineage. Europeans decided to carve up land and say you're from this land, and that's who you are.
and
um,
that's what they did with the Middle East too. It was all tribal in the Middle East, and the Britain and stuff carved it up, gave it names. I know, but my point
Well,
is,
actually,
can I just say,
if I may, well, actually, if I may add some
hey, how many
insight,
pencils do you
actually.
need?
So, what the Europeans did, specifically the monarchy over there in the good old UK where you're from, yeah, what they did, right, was they inserted themselves into a specific bloodline, thereby making themselves be able to carve up Africa. And you know who backed them when they did that, when they inserted themselves into that bloodline? It was this place called the Vatican. The Pope, they backed them in so doing. So they created councils like the Council of Nicaea in 325 BC, where they were able to create entire religious structure to oppress Black people. But that's going back into times I'm not sure if you want to go and dig back into. But yeah, right there in the monarchy over there, it started over there. If the UK and the US had a big, it would be Canada. And that's where I am. But I digress. I'm going to go back.
yeah, I completely agree with everything you say. I'm not disagreeing with anything any of you are saying. And there's a lot of ills. The West, if you want to call it the West, or the whites, or the Europeans, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, there's some fucking awful shit that they did. And I was just born into the skin I'm in, the same way that you are, sir. I can't personally
Give
answer
a
for it.
damn about your
But,
skin. You
but,
was born into the
but
privilege you were in.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I was born into the privilege. I am.
They're still doing
Can I?
it. They're still doing it. You're
Can,
still doing it. It's not like you're not still doing it. You're
but
not stopping it. I mean, y'all
I'm
come
not.
over here. Y'all come over here to talk, but you're not doing anything to stop what your ancestors have done. You're not doing anything to stop what your system,
Well,
your leader
right.
are still doing. You're not doing anything. Y'all,
What?
all these privileges y'all got, you're not doing anything to help the
Can I
situation.
just
I mean,
say?
y'all come over here. Y'all got,
Uh,
y'all can come. Hold on a
can I just?
second, God dog. Hold on a second. You can speak.
Yeah.
Just hold on a second. Like I'm saying, y'all not doing anything to help this, to help the whole situation. I mean, y'all being educated about things that have been going on for a generation. What y'all doing to stop it? What y'all doing? Like y'all, like there's so much y'all can do to stop with your privilege, your guy. Y'all so much y'all can do, but y'all not doing anything about it. We still
Right.
black people everywhere, every nation you go, still under the bottom. We still on the bottom. We still on the bottom. We still in the bottom everywhere you go in the world. We still on the bottom. So what y'all doing right now in this generation, right now as we speak in the age of information, what y'all doing to stop this whole thing that been
Well,
going on for generation,
because
colonization? What y'all doing to do it?
I agree. Things have got to change, and things will change in time, and it's got to change. And then things have been understood, but it's got to start from the grassroots, and it's got to start from the children. Now, we haven't got in our school. There isn't in the what's the word syllabus. There isn't actually anything on the slave trade, but schools can choose to do that. And all three of my children have done the slave trade. They came home when they were, I don't know which would be equivalent to your early high school. They were coming back with pictures of slaves, the amount of bodies that were in the boats that were like 2-3 times the amount of people they should have been carrying. They had pictures of people, of slaves with their backs scarred. There's a famous picture, I'm sure you probably all know it. There's a picture of
When you say
a
all this stuff, it sounds like you're bragging. Like, what do you mean by
no,
this?
no, no.
What are
I'm
you trying to say?
I'm saying my children. It's got to start somewhere. And my children coming home, all of them have watched Roots at school. So what I'm
Why do
saying is,
y'all think
white
that
people have,
showing your
white
kids
people
Roots
have got
is going to
white
solve
people.
any problems? What did you actively do with your children to be anti-racist? What have you
That's what
actively done
white
besides them
people have.
bringing home triggering
What can I
pictures
do?
that they got from school?
They're realising, because they're going to grow up and realise that that sort of thing can never be repeated. They're repelled by it. When I was younger, in 1970s, football or soccer was
Baby, we don't
very
care about going
racist.
down memory lane with you. I want to know
Yeah.
what you're
No, you're
actively
not
doing
listening to me
now,
though. You're not
today and
listening
age.
to me. You've
At
got an
your grown
agenda,
age,
and
at your
you
big
don't want to
age,
listen
what
to
are
me when
you doing?
I'm trying to find a middle ground, and you're just not letting me
There is
speak.
no middle
Everything
Okay.
I'm
ground.
saying, you're
There is
jumping
no
down my
middle
throat.
ground.
Yeah, there
There's no middle ground. You
yeah.
can't. There's no debating our Black liberation. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
it's not up for
Why do you
discussion. None of that.
I'm not talking about for discussion. He was asking me, what am I doing uh, to to
Yes. What are you
stop
actively doing to
anti-racism?
combat systemic racism today
Right,
in your
tell me
young
what I
years?
should be doing.
I'm
What?
just
Well,
Right, with
thinking
firstly, here, let me
my
help you out.
children.
Firstly, here, let me help you out. Firstly, don't come into a predominantly black space and try to center yourself. That's first of all. Okay. Numero uno. Okay. That's number one in Spanish. Um, anyway, don't do that. And then number two, it would be listen to the black voices speaking to you in that predominantly black space. That would be a good, very close number two. Number three would be the same way you clicked your little fingers on here to get on this here app and pop up into this here live. Go ahead and find you a Google search engine. Type in some shit there and research some shit. That's a close third. And then fourth, it would be to sit down with your children and explain to them what you did during the era of racism. Because as far as I understand it, you were walking the planet with the pterodactyls. So, rule number one, right? Rule number one, don't center your whiteness. It's gross. Nobody wants to hear it. We're tired. Okay? Number two, listen to black people. Listen. Don't speak. Just listen. Okay? All right. Rule number 3 and 4, if you remember what they are, hop on that shit. Otherwise, I'm going to digress. I'll go back on mute.
Yeah, I'm just confused on why you brought up your children seeing slave photos. Like, from that point, I'm kind of curious. What did you tell your kids when you saw this? What did you take? What did you tell your kids? How did you explain to your children that, hey, this is what happened the back of the day and this shouldn't be ignored? What conversation did you have with your children? Because one, you brought this up like this is supposed to make us feel bad for your kids to see this, like this isn't real history.
No,
Not and black people don't have to explain this to their
what,
kids every single day. That the fact that their ancestors and their great grandparents and their great great grandparents who are probably still alive today have to go through these things and had to go through these things. So I'm just confused on whether you said this to make us be like, well, think about his kids. Like that had nothing to do with anything. You just randomly brought it up, and I'm just generally confused on why.
I know why he showed it to his kids because his forefathers used to show it to their kids. They used
no,
to have whole
I
cookouts
didn't,
and
I
barbecues
didn't show it to
and
them.
sit there at the
But
picnic and show it to their children. They love
I
showing that
didn't
to
show,
their children.
I didn't show it to them. The school, the teachers showed it to them to show how abhorrent it was.
And what
That's
did
all I'm
you do
saying.
as a parent, as a white teen man? What did you do? How did you tell your kids that? What conversation did you have, or did you even have a conversation at all?
Yes, I did. I just concurred everything that I was talking about when they came home. We talked about it, and
What did you
and
talk
just
about? What did you talk about? Did you just tell them based on something? Did you show them videos? What did you do? What did you do?
no,
As a white teen
they
man, what
were.
could you do? How could you tell your kids about slavery as a white teen man? What did you tell them?
But it was wrong that white people took black people from Africa in dreadful conditions, beat them, raped them, threw them overboard, treated them awful, really bad, and stole all their resources. They know all of this. My children are very aware of it. I'm not trying to center myself here or do any virtue signaling. All I'm doing is I'm here just to say I acknowledge it. I'll step back. I'll get off the live now. Thanks for having me on here. I'll take on board, and I actually follow you. I won't call you brother, but I don't know what to
Okay.
refer to you. Uh, yeah, I just don't know because your name's up there, legend, whatever. I do follow you and I do listen to your discussion. So all I can say
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I blocked him. He said he
I
followed me.
gave
I'm
I
good.
gave you 1, 2, 3, and 4. Hopefully
You
we
know he
tried.
didn't ask me to do that. You know he's
I'm
not going to
surprised
take
by
that.
how I'm surprised by how many marshmallow men even watch my live. It kind of creeps me out, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. I certainly can understand why, brother. I
You know what I'm
certainly can
saying?
understand why.
Because
Yeah,
even
it's
when they
fucking
talk,
weird.
yeah, like even when they talk about like showing their children pictures of our ancestors hanging from trees and stuff like that, it's kind of like now, you know, as a man, I look at that and it's kind of like equivalent to some dude like doing something gruesome to your mother and then being like showing his buddies
Right.
like,
It's
you know what I'm
triggering.
saying?
Yep.
Like that's
Yeah,
why it's
absolutely.
problematic when they
Absolutely.
teach our history because they did that. So
Right.
even when they make these movies and it's like, oh, we're making it historically accurate and all this other stuff, but it's like low key y'all are the ones that did it. So it's kind of like you're bragging. It's kind of like y'all are like
Yeah.
showboating what kind of atrocities you've done. And don't tell me that you don't, look at that as high achieving because we always hear about the greatness of Rome, and we know Rome was doing all kinds of atrocities. Y'all kind of like fetishize violence, so it's kind of
Exploitation on
problematic,
another level. And
you
it's
know?
like psychological for us too, right? Because
Yeah.
when we see that, it's actually psychological for us because those are our ancestors, right?
Right.
Especially when we hear them speaking like, I remember when I went to picnics with my great grandmother, and it's like, yo, bro, I can actually feel what my ancestors went through at that time. And you're
Right.
sitting up here talking, spitting out like how your people, Meemaw used to go and sit down and eat hot dogs and watch the shit.
Right.
So yeah, it's exploitation on a different level, and it's definitely a mind fuck for us. It's
Right.
psychologically triggering. So trigger warning for anybody that's here. And Black people, just know that you are loved, you are special, you are honored, you are respected. Don't.
That is crazy. Like, nah, even like what you just brought out, like, they sit that you did this to us, and then now you profit off of making movies about it, where you're gonna sit down with popcorn and hot dogs, bring the children, and we're all just gonna watch movies of what we did to these people and win and give each other Oscars.
And then tomorrow, and here's the
That
kicker, and then tomorrow at work, at the water cooler, we're going to talk about it. We're going to pick out the token Negro in the office, and we're going to have a little chit chat over coffee and water.
right.
You know?
And ask them their opinions on the subject matter, because
Yeah.
that's exactly what my black ass wants to do at 7 o'clock in the morning, is talk to your crusty, dusty snowflake ass about you watching Django last night, or you watching 12 Years of Slavery, or you
Right.
watching The Butler or The Help, and give my opinion to you when you
Mm,
probably didn't even get the fucking context to begin with. Like,
right.
it's so
Jared, the conversation
irritating.
would go like this, right? Hey, Jared. Hey, me and the wife, we were sitting down and we were watching 12 Years a Slave. Oh my God. The things that your people went through. Did you watch it?
Oh
Yeah.
no, I'll do you one better. Let me tell y'all what happened last week. So my sister works in the same place as me, but she works in the schoolyard, and she's had her nails done. There it's nothing too crazy, nothing too wild. This bitch comes up to her while we're in the middle of a conversation, is like, "Oh yeah, I love your nails. I watched Woman King last night and they had those same kind of nails." And I was like, "What the fuck
What?
does your nails have to do with Woman King?" She's like, "I thought the same thing, but I'm gonna leave it alone."
Damn.
It's
That's weird. That's fucking
Every
weird.
time.
yeah.
It never
That's
fails. It
crazy.
never fails.
What kind of nails did they have in Woman King?
No, I thought they were
They
all just
had
barehanded.
nothing
I
to
thought they
do
didn't
with
have
they
no
were
nails.
no, they did. They were basic natural nails that were
Yeah.
sharpened to a tip. She had one stiletto heel. I mean, one stiletto nail, and the rest were like coffin nails. I don't
Mm,
understand why the hell this woman thought to, just because there was like some type of tribal print on there, it gave, what's that shit called? It was a microaggression in my book.
yeah.
Hmm.
Because like
Hmm.
why did that have to, like, why did her nails have to bring up Woman King? You just wanted us to know that your white ass was watching Woman King.
Right.
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 You just want to say that.
Right.
You just want to
Yeah.
know that. So you don't
That's
seem
crazy.
racist and you like black people. Like you.
Mm.
So, white people in the chat, so you've taken away anything from the live so far tonight, it would be don't go to the water cooler and the fucking coffee machine to ask the token Negro in the office about what he thinks about you and your slave movies that your people put out there.
Mm.
Okay?
Correct.
Nobody gives a shit. Okay? All right, good
Absolutely
talk.
not.
All
D
right, and I'm
lady, what's
done.
good? What's good, sister?
Hey, my brother, how you doing? Hello to
I'm
the
well.
panel. That's good to hear, my brother. And hello to the panel. I've been enjoying listening to y'all, and then my nerves have been plucked by the other folks that's been coming up here
I'm
with
telling
their
you.
shenanigans and foolery. I just wanted to say real quick, when somebody brings up the Irish were slaves, even the Irish say that they were never slaves. There was an article, I was on another live, and a young lady pulled up an article where the Irish had wrote saying we were never slaves, how um something about the West uses the Irish to say they were slaves to justify uh, saying that everybody was a slave. And even the Irish say they were never slaves. They were indentured servants. They got paid, even though it was not a lot. They were still paid. They were able to make a living and take care
Hmm.
of their family. Black people were enslaved. We wasn't paid. We had to work. Our ancestors had to work until death.
Yeah.
So there that goes. The next thing is Hollywood shows us what uh Caucasians obsess over? Why do we know more about your Jeffrey Dahmers, your Mansons, your Casey's, your Bundy? How many documentaries have they done on Jeffrey Dahmer? Like, why do we need to know so much about this cannibal? You know why? Because most of his victims were of us, was of
They were
our
black.
people.
They were black.
Yeah.
And they glorify that. They
Mm.
relish off of it. They don't show, but when they show our people back in slavery time, you notice they never really focus on those slaves that revolted and fought back. Django was the
Right.
closest I've seen to a movie where they showed a black man going up against master. They
Yeah.
don't like to show that because they don't want to
Still over
encourage.
glamorized.
They don't want to show what our people did do. A lot of
Right.
our ancestors fought back against being enslaved and being mistreated. But they don't want to
Yeah.
show you that part.
I'm waiting for that
Because
1804. I'm waiting for that Haitian movie.
You know what? Because
I
because
haven't
they see
heard
black,
of it.
yeah, it's because they see black people like this defenseless being. Like they don't really took on their seeds as people. You know, they make all these things. And you rob Jeffrey Dahmer. I remember seeing all the white tea women, all white tea men talking about some, oh, they were so lucky. I wanted to be one of his victims and all of these things. And when they talk about black struggles, it's always just like, oh yeah, I wish I was in this position, or all of this making it, just romanticizing it. You know, they want to show black people down on the ground. They want to show us,
Right.
oh, we're just struggling. You know, even in certain documentaries, they always try to demonize us. And even just,
Exactly.
I remember a whole unaliving case where a white teen man unalived this black woman, and they showed her half naked on a beach, and he was in his suit looking professional, while she was over here trying to be portrayed as someone promiscuous and someone who couldn't be tamed and all of these things. But when you see cases of white teen women being harmed, it's always like, oh, she was just this great being, she was so just smart, and they portray her as someone that was innocent, and so it's just like, and they try to push this, they try to push this
Mhm.
out. It makes us think black people are just these untamed beings. You can't. There's nothing positive about them. They didn't do anything right. They didn't do anything at all. And it's fucking sick. It's fucking sick. And people are eating this up. And you see white people making slave movies, trying to make it seem like you're trying to spread a message. Like this is something. This is first of all, it's something white people need to have in their hands. I have yet to see a black person make a slave movie and let it be historically accurate. You don't see people you don't see a lot of black directors doing this. You don't see a lot of black directors being offered these. It's always a white tea man behind it, someone, a white tea person funding it. It's fucking
And
sick.
they
No,
use it as
they
a badge
literally
of honor.
cannot.
They use it as a badge of honor when they show these slave movies with our people always enslaved, being a slave, which they don't never show the slaves that revolted, which is very curious to me. Why is that?
Right.
And then another thing white people do is they love the white savior mentality, where if it wasn't for white people stopping slavery, slavery would still be going on. No, we had to fight for it. Our ancestors had to
Yeah.
fight against it. And I want you guys to remember this movie. It's coming on HBO. It was about a white woman with no medical credentials went over to Africa to pretended to be a doctor through a
Yeah, it's
charity
already
she
out.
She
started,
pretended to be
and
a
she
nurse. Yeah.
pretended to be a nurse and unalived over 100 children.
In
And
Africa,
she
right?
was
700.
doing
Yeah.
700.
What?
700.
Yeah.
oh, it was
700.
700. I was way
That's
under
crazy.
700. And HBO is doing a documentary on this heifer, but they're calling it the Savior. Um, Complex or something instead of saying the white savior. It's
Right.
really they didn't call it the white savior complex. They just call it the savior complex. And she's getting a documentary where she's able to tell her side of the story, and she feels like she was just trying to help. But they allowed this person to go over there, pretend to be a medical profession with no medical license, and she took these babies away from their families. So
So if
when
I
I
could,
tell YT people are dangerous and are not to be trusted. And I don't care how YT people in the comments feel about it. I don't trust them. And as far as I'm concerned, we need to separate from them ASAP. And I'm
So
going to
real
just,
quick,
yes,
just
Mind
to
you, she's still
just to
alive.
piggyback off of what you said, there's so many good points. But one thing I want everybody to realize is that just like black bodies have been commodified, so has black trauma. So you need to understand in knowing that, understand that when these people are putting, clips of unalivings on social media, at the hands of police, and when the media, the mainstream media, is running those news stories back to back to back to back, it's all a part of commodification. So that's one thing. And then you also mentioned the story, this documentary about this woman. It speaks to a bigger issue. Yeah, we shouldn't be like, America shouldn't be giving this woman a documentary under any circumstances. The fact
Yeah.
that Hollywood is actually highlighting this story is actually sick in itself. But the bigger issue there is the NGOs that go into these African nations that are not being checked on a human rights level when it comes to how they operate and the things that they do in not just African countries, but in countries where Black people are marginalized in general, period. These NGOs go out into those areas and do horrific shit under the guise of, food aid or healthcare aid or whatever the case is. So there's a lot of things that play into everything that you just talked about. So I just wanted to put that into perspective for the folks in the chat. But I'll
Mind
digress.
you, she's alive. She's alive doing this. She was alive then. She's alive now.
Yeah, she's
Free,
at home.
free. She's
and
alive.
free. Yeah, she's
But
free.
let this be let a black person be presumed to be stealing something, then all of a sudden their life is gone. This is the type of shit I'm talking about. So white tea people can go out and unalive our children and do all these horrific things and still come back out on top, get all the support. Look at what they did to Emmett Till's murder, unalive her. She was protected. They protected her until the day her life laid down, and they try to
Yeah.
justify her actions. But like this is shit I'm talking about.
And this is why I push separation. And I get so much heat from YT people. Oh, you want to bring segregation back? Segregation was something that was forced upon our people through the Jim Crow laws. And that meant thinking on your color and those to put either a counter.
Oh, we can't hear you, D lady. Your sound started messing up.
My sound, I'm sorry. Um, Segregation was forced upon our people, our ancestors. Separation is voluntary. You stay over there, do your thing, and we stay over here and do our thing. And the two shall never meet or intermix. And I think it would be better. The worst thing that happened for our people was integrating with their people. That was the worst thing ever that happened for our people. When we had our own towns, our own communities, we did so much better. Our ancestors did way better. The minute we integrated with their people and went to their schools, everything went wrong for us. And we need to get back into that mindset of
Mm.
separate.
Yeah.
Thank you, my
Well,
brother.
we gotta be careful saying that on TikTok, but I hear what you're saying,
My
sister. They
apologies. I didn't mean to do anything to get your live in trouble, but
no, I
that's
know it's in their guidelines that they don't like the separation, segregation words. They don't like that. If you promote that, they get But
well, that's
we know what you mean.
I understand that's for their benefit because they don't want to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
That they don't want us to push it because they don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
But my apologies, brother. I didn't
No, you
mean to
good. I know what
vibe.
you mean. I know what you're talking about. You ain't talking about actual excregation. You talking about us building our own and having our own again.
Our own community.
Excregation is a system that
Yeah.
was built to exclude certain people from power, and starve them of resources. So that's actually not the system that you're talking about. You're talking about us just having our own. So you know what I'm
Just
saying?
having our own communities, our
Right.
own area, our own schools, our own hospitals,
Mm-hmm.
our own everything, and they have their own. Not trying to keep them from doing anything or they
Right.
keep us from doing it. Just living in different communities
Yeah.
and their their economy has no effect on us. Our economy has no effect on them, and they live there. We live here.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Right. Well, I would say there's nothing wrong with that. Nobody blamed the woman running away from Freddy Krueger for wanting to get away from her potential unaliver. And
that
I
part.
do think it's crazy when they bring up the Irish racism thing because I can't imagine going on like an Iranian person or an Iraqi person's live and they're talking about how America came to their country for oil, and I'm just like, hey, they took resources from our land too, or going on like I don't know, some other marginalized community or I don't know, let's say a Becky goes missing and I go on her live and I'm like, hey, they kidnapped us from our land, so you're like, you
Yeah,
know what
it's
I'm
that
saying,
white
like,
entitlement. That white teen entitlement.
you
They
know what
feel
I'm saying,
entitled
like
to their people.
that's crazy to even think you have that much privilege, like really to come up here and do that. But that's how it goes, y'all. Hopefully my show can show some of us that. Hopefully, y'all have gotten some value from the live. That's what I do it for. And
You can talk to my brother. Thank
yes,
you.
always, sister. Thank you for coming up. And
Take
I'm gonna go
care.
ahead and take it down, y'all. I gotta go to sleep. Got work in the morning, but I'll be back tomorrow. Check me out. Anybody that hasn't already, you can subscribe to my YouTube on my profile. There's a YouTube button, and Discord link is also there. And one love. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace.
One
All
love.
right,
Take
and
care,
peace
everybody.
All right.
Bye,
out.
everybody.
All right, y'all.
All right.